of weirdos, 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 we're a bunch of weirdos.
Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode number 88. And 88 is the right number because we are talking about horror movies from 1988 today. My name is Dave Z.
Oh, I'm Chainsaw Christian.
Grimsby here.
Grimsby. And I don't have a nickname, but I am on caffeine again because I just got home from work. Rushing. Here I am. I got a Timmy's Pumpkin Spice.
So you're Gay Dave tonight.
I'm Gay Dave. I allow myself 4 of these a year. 1 a week during October. Timmy's Pumpkin Spice
Enema?
Iced Frappuccino.
Enema.
Frappuccino.
Enema has to come out. All those words you said together, enema is the only appropriate word to end that with.
This is going to be a problem because I haven't taken a dump today. And I rushed home from work. I'm tight enough schedule as it is. But anyway, nobody wants to hear about that. If there is time to BS at the end, we really want to because there is some stuff we want to talk about. Something big going on for Show 100 that we'd like to announce. But we are going to just get into the movies tonight, directly into it. We have 10 movies that were handpicked from Derek B. on the Patreon, because he's a patron. How's that?
He's a patron.
And thank you, Derek. As you can see, we are not doing these type of shows anymore. After the next show, we will never have a show where anybody can pick more than 3 movies again, unless it's a hand-picked trilogy by us, which actually is a quadrilogy. There are a few like that, but that's another story. 1988, gentlemen, I hope you remembered your top 5 for the year, which we could probably do at the end. And if not, then we won't do it.
We can do it. Yeah, okay. Even though I totally forgot.
You're the one that brought it up.
Yeah, I did.
I think Christian did.
I did. I know it was a top 10, but so I've got it covered one way or the other.
All right.
You can take my 6 through 10, Bree.
I can do a 10.
I can do a 10 also. We'll figure it out. All right, let's jump right into it. 10 films from 1988. Let's start it off randomly with a first-time watch for me. This is also what Christian calls his tidy whities, and this is The Lair of the White Worm. Directed by Ken Russell. When an archaeologist uncovers a strange skull in foreign land, the residents of a nearby town begin to disappear, leading to further unexplained occurrences.
Don't be so daft.
This was a first-time watch for you, B?
First-time watch. I never had any interest in seeing it. Always looked like something I was going to hate.
I thought so, too, and I did when I was a kid. I said my 15-year-old or whatever old mine, I guess it was 88, so depending on when, roughly, 14, 15, did not absorb this movie well. I saw some pictures in Fangoria, and I love vampires, so I couldn't wait to see it, and I was bored at that time. And I enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it this time. I'm not super high in it.
Yeah,
but
I did too.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. I thought some, obviously, the Ken Russell dream nightmare sequences in here. I don't know why they look very Freddy's Dead to me.
Oh, they looked why? It was obviously a choice. They looked like video, and it looked like the bad green screen, blue screen, whatever. I don't know why they chose to do that, because it just looked horrible.
I put on my 3D glasses. I expected to be sucked right in. But what a cast, man. I mean, I always knew Hugh Grant was in this, but you also got a young Peter Capaldi in here, a young Doctor Who. Amanda Donahue
Doctor
is...
Who?
Huh?
Kelly who?
Kelly? Dr. Kelly who? Dr. Kelly who?
Shout out Friday 8.
And you got the sisters in here. The Trent sisters.
Indeed. I'll tell you this. I also never wanted to watch this as a child or whatever. Seeing it on the shelf and everything else, I thought it'd be something I'd be bored with. Now, the first time I saw this movie was actually for a podcast a couple years ago. We did it on ABC's A Hidden Horror, and Bo Ransdell guest starred on that, and he brought that movie to the table. I said at the end of that review, when we discussed it, that I want to watch it a second time because I didn't quite get what was going on and I was drifting in and out of it. But I did like some of the visuals. Matter of fact, the stuff you guys were just shitting on, I would have preferred a freaking 90-minute movie just of that stuff. I enjoyed that stuff with the snakes and the witches and the crucifix and all that crazy shit going on. And the second view did not help me. I was still drifting in and out. I could understand why people would like it. At the end of the day, it's just not my cup of tea.
You know what, though? You know what I liked about it? And you could even see it, in a young Hugh Grant. There's some decent comedy in here. I always thought he was funny. I really did. I like Hugh Grant. And I just think there's some lines in here that are, I don't know if they're intentionally or unintentionally funny, but even Lady Marsh, when just certain scenes when they're playing snake shoots and ladders, and then the kid, the youth she picks up, he starts playing the harmonica, the way she starts dancing.
Right.
Like, what? I nearly died laughing.
She's
and
gorgeous.
Then,
she's gorgeous.
Yes.
She is.
And
she bites him in the dick, and she's like, man, you have appalling BO. And he starts like... And he's like, save your breath. You have halitosis as well.
Yes. That was the best part of the movie, that sequence when he came to visit, that whole thing, the snakes and ladders, her dancing and then mocking him for playing the friggin' thing. How about snakes and ladders? Did you notice that one giant snake at the beginning or at the top of the board went all the way down to the bottom? Yeah. I don't remember one being that long.
Oh, yeah. There's always one really shit one that you didn't want to land on.
But that's like all the way to the top to all the way to the bottom. I was like, wow.
Even the Citizen Kane reference where she throws in the fire is like, she's like, that's my rosebud.
Yeah, rosebud.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd never seen Citizen Kane, but I know about the rosebud thing.
Yeah.
But
you thought it was a porn reference.
Nah, I don't know what I thought it was, but it's been spoiled for me, so there's no need for me to watch the movie now. And everyone loves that movie. But that's another story. I like her. I like that sequence. This movie to me is what I pictured Hammer movies being before I watched them. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is it's very British and it's very dull to me. That's what I thought Hammer horror was going to be. And that's what this was instead. And I liked the Hammer horror movies when I watched them.
Yeah, and I think it could kind of be like an offshoot of them, but it doesn't quite have the... Well, especially their older ones, they really had like atmosphere. I'm not saying this one didn't have any atmosphere because the Lair was kind of cool, but it's very much a set piece. Like it looks like a giant set. I thought of it more like a modernized version of the Universal Classics. Like it fit kind of just like that, except for the really overt anti-Christian imagery and her spitting, puking onto the crucifix and all that stuff. But you tone that down, and it could just be an updated version of like a Universal monster movie.
Now, wait, what was her purpose again for bringing about this Dianon, this goddess, this snake god?
I don't know, but
was it to maintain her youth or something? She had to do a sacrifice to maintain her youth.
See, we don't even know. All I know is they found this skull in the beginning. They found this fossil. I had trouble understanding everything that was coming out of their mouths. It took a while to get going. I liked the sequence, like I said, with the girl biting the kid's dick off and luring him in and stuff like that. And the girls were nice to look at, the women were, so that was okay.
Yeah,
and
the end, really cute.
Yeah, definitely. And the end was really good when she was doing all that crazy stuff and dying on whatever she was saying over and over again. The eyeball kill was cool.
I don't know why she was so sad though. She was very blue. Christian, did they say why she was doing it? Was she sacrificing it to maintain her eternal youth?
I believe
Nobody
so.
knows.
No, I believe that's what it is. I mean, yeah, I
think they did say it. I think they did say it. I just took crappy notes here. My note taking is getting worse, but I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it. I liked the setting I like the comedy throughout. That really saves it for me. The bagpipe scene.
Out of nowhere, the bagpiper.
No, but that's hilarious because like it reminded me of So I Married an Axe Murderer. We have a piper down. He's playing. He's getting exhausted. He's getting winded. And Ernie. Yeah, and Ernie's chasing him, and he's out of breath.
There's an odd scene at the beginning, or within the first 10 minutes when they're at that party. I don't know what they wanted to do. I don't know why this was a choice for the sound design, but they're talking in that room when they're eating the foods, and all you hear are people walking in and out of that thing. All you hear is their footsteps. I thought it was so weird. I don't know if they forgot to overdub music or if they realized they fucked up and then want to ADR it. I don't know if that was a conscious decision. I assume it was, but to what reason? I don't know why.
That's funny that the filmmaker and you saw that, and all I saw was, what the hell are they eating? And then he said something about like pickled earthworms. I was like, this is fucking nauseating. Because if you look at that whole like spread they had out, it was disgusting.
I couldn't get over the damn footsteps.
Yeah, I don't remember that part.
Yeah,
of course not.
Yeah, and the strange dream sequences with the painting and the plane. Man, that must have been a weird scene to shoot on the plane.
Yeah, that was weird for sure. I enjoyed it though, but
yeah, I enjoyed it too. It's trippy, but it's entertaining. It didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome. I enjoyed the performances, and I like the way it played out. I like the the little surprise ending.
I like the sawing off of the hand. That was a cool little nifty little trick there. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. And
the insert shot of the severed hand that's still holding on to her popping off, though, seemed a little chintzy. I thought that looked pretty silly.
I was just happy to see some gore by that point, I think. I don't know, but maybe you're probably right about that. The worm looked okay.
Yeah, I think they give you enough in terms of story and effects and development, but it's the comedy that held it together for me. And yeah.
Was that just a tagged on ending? Like, did we see a scene of him dropping off what he thought was antidote, or I know he took something and it ended up being just
arthritis medication.
Arthritis medication, yeah, which was pretty funny. And he realizes that the antidote is there and it's too late and whatnot. But was there a setup to that scene? I don't remember that.
He does mention that he had gotten the serum, that he had developed the serum in time and gotten it.
Okay, for a movie for a movie that has so much dialogue, I don't know any of the answers. I was hoping you guys had those. Don't look to me for answers.
No, it's there. It's there because he even references it when he wakes up that it took forever for him to wake up because he's paralyzed on the ground and he's waiting for the serum to work, and he explains it to James later on when they're sitting outside, right at the end.
Oh well, that's cool. I wish I could get into it because it's not. I'm not saying it's not particularly well made or the performances aren't good or anything like that, and the dream sequences or whatever you want to call them are cool. Some trippy stuff. It was just, I don't know. I just never, from the first 5 minutes, it didn't grab a hold of me, and I came in and out for a little bit, but it just, I guess it's just not my cup of tea. Is all I can say. But
are you saying cup of tea because it's British? Would you be saying cup of coffee if this was an American film?
Absolutely, yes. It is cup of tea. Did you put the kettle on? Didn't they say that in this movie? I think it was this movie. Was there another British movie? I don't know. Either way.
I like the mongoose scene.
The mongoose?
Yeah, when they let the mongoose go.
Oh yeah.
And then she's hiding behind the bed and she just chucks the dead mongoose out. I don't know. I was pleasant for a first time view. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't think I'm as high on it as you guys might think I might be, but for a film that I avoided all my life, probably just looked like it was just going to be an utter bore. It was actually rather entertaining.
This was definitely my favorite. I guess I've watched this 3 times. First time, bored stiff as a teen. Then I think I revisited it because I remembered the scene with the boy quite vividly, and I don't recall what I thought of it the second time. So this time I went in not really looking forward to it, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, but I'm not blowing it like a lot of people are.
Do people blow it?
It seems, I don't know if it's because we mentioned we were doing it, but all of a sudden I saw some people talking about it on our page. People seem to really like this movie.
I like the look of it. I love, the temple house. I love the that cavern, the Stone-Rick Cavern, whatever it's called. I like the way it plays in at the end that James figures out that the snake was living like in between like the crevices in the cavern and was able to come up through the house, and that's how it was all connected with where they found the watch of the father and all that. And it was, I don't know, I think it was pretty well made and well executed. It's
a good director,
Yeah.
It's weird that this is a Bram Stoker's story as well. Let me ask you, Hugh Grant, does he always speak British, or when he does American movies, does he have an accent?
He always has the accent.
Okay, because I don't know if I've ever seen it. I know of him, of course. Actually, I remember him getting busted for messing around with. I think it was the prostitute that was really a guy. That's what I remember hearing of him. And then I remember before that he was dating what's her name, that beautiful woman, Elizabeth Hurley.
Yes.
And that's what happened. So I knew that he made a big name for himself, but I don't know for sure if I've ever seen any of his movies.
He's done a lot of most of his movies are romance comedies, but he still has this like dry wit to him that's very funny, and it was present even here. And over the last 30 years, he's done dozens of movies that he's kind of like the same in them. And if you like it, then you'll like him in other films.
Yeah.
Right on.
Acting was good. Acting was good.
I want to see that antagonist in another movie. I wish she did more of this, because she was really good in this role. The
only other place I remembered her from the minute I saw her is Liar, Liar.
Oh, yeah.
Really? She was in that movie?
She's the one that Jim Carrey sleeps with, who says he's had better.
Well, speaking of having better.
But it was good. All right, I want to see how low you are. It's just some...
You know me. I'm not going to be too low because it was well made enough, and I'm not criticizing anything about it except that, I couldn't be into it. So I would never unfairly say anything like that. This movie, for me, it's a 5.5.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Oh, wow. I'm at a 7.
Yeah, I'm actually at a 7 also.
I love this. I love when this happens all the time.
To me, that's a good movie.
I think
Yeah,
it's a solid 7.
Solid 7 it is.
Solid 7.
So that is that. What do you got next on the lineup here, B?
All right, next one I got a second time watch for me, but I'm looking forward to talking about this one, and that is Evil Dead Trap. A TV station employee takes a camera crew out to an abandoned factory to investigate a purported snuff film that was made there, only to end up running for her life when a small fetus-like creature murders her crew. That's a fucking spoiler. Sorry.
And it's only for a minute of the film. All right?
Yeah. Sorry.
And it's really not. Well, I mean, I don't even know what it is, because I love 2/3 of this movie, and the last third or 3/4 of the movie, and the last quarter I hate. To me, it makes
what?
I hate the ending.
I love the whole film.
I love the climax more than the other stuff. Wow.
No, I love the whole setup.
Dude, that ending is so Japanese, though. Oh. That's such a perfect, oh my god.
And the rest of the movie is so Italian.
Oh my god, the soundtrack. Are you kidding me?
It's friggin' Day of the Dead, 100%.
Dude, phenomenal.
Oh, it's great. And everything about it is Italian. This to me is like the Japanese trying to make an Italian horror movie. It's weird.
I have Italian written all over my notes.
Which is why I like the first 3/4 of it. Mm-hmm. I love everything you said.
It to go full
the music.
At the end.
I did not. Eyes wide shut. I could not believe. I thought I saw this. Turns out that I saw Evil Dead Trap 2 because there was a screening of it in Toronto. For whatever reason, I thought it was this one. But I was wrong because I do not recall that ending at all.
Wow. I remember the ending. This is my 3rd time seeing it. Saw it a long time ago and enjoyed it. I have the DVD actually, but then I lost it. So I couldn't find it for this time. But the last time I did watch the DVD was once again for ABC's The Hidden Horror, and I brought this to the table for my E-movie. So it just goes to show you that I considered it a hidden gem.
Your E-True Hollywood movie?
Yes, indeed. E-True Hollywood movie about... I couldn't tell you the Ryu, what's her name? Rai? I don't know.
Ray? call her Ray.
Okay, Ray.
Ryu. That's like the time when I was like Naguian, and Bill Castanelli's like, it's Win.
Oh, yes, it is.
Although it's not always pronounced Win, I've learned, because I've seen that spelling other times, and they've actually pronounced it like Nagayan or whatever. But it is Win a lot of times. I've seen it pronounced differently.
Nagayan? You heard someone pronounce it that.
Maybe not Nagayan, but like Neguin or something, like not Win.
Neguin? Oh, okay.
I don't know why I did that. But anyway.
It's like that guy in that movie. My name is Mr. Pfeiffer. the P is not silent. You know. What was that from?
I have no idea, but that's funny.
It's from something. Anyway, sorry, we got derailed. Evil Dead Trap.
I remember this the first time. I remember not loving the ending because I remember it going batshit. But this time watching it, even though it does go batshit, and I remembered that, it was very easy to follow. And I do love the setup too. I can see why Christian would get upset with the third act, because it sets up, you know, very dark and almost like this is a slasher film, you know, a straight up slasher, not to go all supernatural or sisters like, you know, get all crazy and stuff like that. But man, they start out great by showing you that snuff film.
Oh, everything.
Ooh.
It's creepy. The settings is creepy. The kills are gory, and it's all great. And then I feel like they just sucker punch you at the end. And for me, it wasn't a good sucker punch.
Yeah, but that slit eyelid. That's
in that film.
Ooh.
That was gross.
That's a 10 out of 10 slit eyelid. Yeah, the location's really good. I love how when they go there, like, you immediately see the dog is with that guy. The brother's name. I know Hideki turns out to be the little brother, the other guy. The big brother.
Big Brother. I can't remember the names,
I don't think they ever say his name.
Maybe not. But yeah, man, the kills are the highlight for me. I mean, the eye torture in the beginning, that impaling scene.
Oh, that impaling scene was really cool.
Dude, it really did look real to me. They could have been used as a snuff film.
Dude, that was great. Coming from 3 different directions like that.
Oh, honestly, I couldn't wait for her to say it's those damn enchiladas. But it was like Damon's death, but way better. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Damon.
Man.
Yeah.
Damon.
Yeah, I know.
Diamond. They call me Diamond. It's a British demon. I'm the Diamond. So anyway.
The only thing I wanted to know, was a little confusing, is, you know, all this killing's going on. Why did he have that one prisoner, that one guy, like, bound up, that he lets loose, who attacks the girl in the van? Which then becomes another great kill when she's, like, strangled and then pulled up over the car. Fantastic.
Great kill. All the kills are good.
Yeah. The kills are a standout. The soundtrack's a standout. I like the characters. Enough character development to get behind these characters, and very haunting, you know, lead protagonist here. Because I mean, you immediately suspect that there's something up with this guy. I mean, you know there's something. You know he's involved somehow.
Yeah. But you would never guess what the fuck it was.
But that's what makes it great. That's what makes it so great at the end. It's like
great.
I don't know. I like it. I can see where you might want something different, but like, unless you could tell me like what you wanted, I'm okay with this.
Right. It's like I always say, if I can write something better, then I can criticize it. But where would you have gone with it? See, do you think you could have come up with a?
I don't know. Okay, I need to know the explanation. I have no clue what went on there. There's like a demon brother inside of him that wanted him to kill. Like I don't even know what happened. You said it's straightforward. I don't know what happened.
I never said it was straightforward. No.
I have no clue what the ending means. What
do you mean?
This manifestation
Hideki's his conjoined twin brother.
But he barrels his way out of him.
Yeah, he's breaking free from his brother.
Stupid.
And taking control.
It's kind of silly, but it's Japanese. It's just what they went with. Well, that's what they do in their movies sometimes. You know, they just go batshit. Look at watch Audition. What goes on in the third act there? You know what I mean?
Look, it's supernatural. He's got telekinetic powers. I mean, he's shooting those arrows all over the place. Hideki. So you know there's something supernatural here. So you got that, and that old switcheroony kill with the tripwire when she busts through the door, and then the slicing in half. Oh my God.
It's like a jigsaw kill almost.
Dude, yeah, very Saw-like. Very Saw-like.
Yeah,
Supernatural Saw. Supernatural Japanese Saw here.
Right, with a slasher Italian vibe to it.
I don't see how people can't like this movie. It literally has everything.
Oh, let's not go crazy. Let's not go crazy.
It has a lot. I'm not over the top on it, but the second act actually is my problem. The movie is an hour and a half long, and it seems like it's a 2-hour movie. And a lot of it has to do, I think, with the second act and the walking around and when she's with that guy for all those scenes. I don't know. I mean, granted, it's only an hour and a half movie, so what I cut, I don't know. But for me, the setup was great. The climax was a hoot. And the middle was good. Just, I don't know. It got a little dull a few times for me as well. But I still like the movie.
I thought it was great. I think I'm pretty high on this, actually.
It's one of those movies that I used to be higher on it. I kind of come down a little bit each time. But not down far or anything. I just... the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, it kind of blew me away. And I don't know, it just happens with me sometimes. Sometimes I just like a film a little less each time I watch it.
To me, this is like a Sisters, but more entertaining.
Oh, I still haven't seen it, man.
The repressed conjoined twin who just sort of overtakes his brother at the end, breaks free of him. And I guess
I don't have to watch Sisters now.
No. You can definitely watch it. Yeah. It's not identical.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the stabbing in the eye, and then he's all burnt up, and he jumps out the window, and he falls to pieces. Just great effects and stuff. And
I like the look of him too. The mysterious, with the what is it, a hood he's wearing or whatever the hell he's doing, walking around.
Yeah. He's either walking around in a suit or he's walking around in looks like army, like an army poncho with something covering his face, and he's always shooting. He's like, oh, I just missed him, and you're like, what's going on here? I don't see anything, but he doesn't know what's going on either.
True. I like the setup. I like how they get, I don't want to say, suckered is probably the wrong word. But I mean, how they get lured there with the snuff videos, and then they go there and everything takes. I don't know. I enjoy it.
I enjoy it too, and I even like the ending. I like the fact that the setup that she's in the hospital and they say they never found anything that she describes in terms of this fetus-like creature. Not to mention the effects when he's born, when he's popping out of the. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's some nasty stuff, but.
And the very, very end?
I like that. It's very. It's almost like a. Like a howling type ending.
There you go.
Yeah. That's how I feel for the next movie.
Oh, get the fuck out!
So really, the third act really brought it down that far, huh?
Once it went to that, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching here? I did not like any of it. Any of it.
Wow.
It totally. Now I know how some people must feel about High Tension. When it does that switcheroony at the end, and if they're not on board and that's it, they're done, and I'm totally on board for that. This is what this movie felt. I just could not buy anything it was selling me. I've been saying it a lot lately. I was just like, I loved everything leading up to it, the music, the gore, the kills, everything was good. And I guess it's funny because it's trying to do something different, but that's where I thought it sucked.
Understand. How can you not like the fetus-like conjoined twin who's evil, who has telekinetic powers, and the good brother, and their fight for control of the body or the mind?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. You know what? See, maybe you should start watching movies. You should watch the last 20 minutes first, and then watch the first 2 acts. Maybe you'll enjoy the movie.
I'm having a tough time rating this because I really enjoyed it. Like if I just said, yeah, it's that last quarter, do I just take off 2.5 points for it? Because
that's a big quarter, though. That's a big quarter.
You're right. So I'll take off more.
You should. You really should. If you don't like that last quarter, then why rate it high?
It really ruined the experience for him.
Yeah,
so,
it did.
I mean, it happened. I mean, how good you haven't really said a lot about the first 2 acts, except that you enjoyed them, and that most of your emphasis.
You guys have summed it up. The kills are good. The music's good. I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's what it is. We get introduced. I like the setup. I love the fact that she's doing the show and they get the snuff tape. You guys have sort of talked about the stuff, so I didn't want to just sort of be repetitious, but And once it gets there, it's all great stuff. Like there's some atmosphere, there's tension, and they really do use that soundtrack over and over again. But like we were talking about, like those good Italian movies that it kind of seems to be emulating, that's what they did as well. So when that soundtrack kicked in, I loved it.
Yeah, it was intriguing, even though a lot of it, early on is them just investigating and walking around. But like you said, you kind of like the characters. That Condu guy, the one guy in the group, I don't know why I wrote this, but I guess, I know why, because he was doing all those pranks and scaring everyone. I wrote he was the Shelley of the group.
Asian Shelley, huh?
Asian Shelley.
Nice.
Sherry.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
You want fried Shelley?
Right, yeah, you wouldn't say Sherry. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So Sherry was the Shelley.
Maybe his name is Sherry. I don't know. I can't remember the names. Usually I do, even with movies like this. Actually, I'm more prone to remember a name from movies like this than I am regular movies because they stand out. You know what I mean?
This one wasn't hard because it didn't have too many characters. So this one was a little bit easier to follow. I just can't remember the name of the brother. I remember the fetus being Hideki, but
Hideki, yes, indeed. Well,
I was enjoying it for a batshit crazy movie where it goes. I found it very straightforward to follow.
Underseen. It's underseen, and it needs a proper release. Is what's going on here.
Yeah, I think it has a DVD by Synapse, but not I don't think it has a Blu-ray.
Oh, it does have. I think the DVD is out of print.
It might be, but it was released by Synapse. I'm not sure if it was. I think it was just a DVD though. But it does need even if Synapse still owns the rights, they should reissue this on Blu-ray if I'm not mistaken and it's not on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Because I would actually buy this. I really enjoyed it.
Well, what would you give it? I want to know what he gave it now because.
All right, 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it.
8 out of 10, huh? Not bad. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's funny because last time I watched it, I would have given it an 8. That's the way I felt. This time I came down to a 7. I drifted in the second act. Don't know why.
Sounds like you were sleeping through most of the movies so far.
Well, it's tough to get everything in a week these days, and you know what I mean. Which is one of the reasons we're cutting back a little bit on some of the Patreon choices, and we're not going to commit ourselves to too many movies per show anymore. We just don't have it in us right now, especially me. But I don't know.
The smaller shows, and we've talked about this before, but I always felt like with the 2-3 movie shows, we get much more in depth with the movies, and my favorite part of any show, whether it's listening to it or recording it with you guys, is always the ones where we have more time to bullshit, maybe do lists, do stuff like that. Reviewing movies is fun, but for 4 hours straight, it's like sometimes I don't want to just rate movies the whole time. I just want to bullshit talk.
That's why we got to go off the rails like we do here and there.
Yeah.
Talking about freaking Pfeiffer and stupid shit.
I want to know what movie that is.
I don't know. I said, hey, I think the guy said, I'm going to punch you in your face. He told him. It might have been like, what do you call it? Is it Seinfeld?
Guys, this is the movie that said, you just broke my glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. Nice.
So that should jump it up a point right there for everybody.
He deserved it, though. It would have been funny if she body slammed him first.
Yeah. I think you said you broke my glasses, and I fucking lost it as soon as I...
Yeah, you texted us right away. You're like, he just said I broke my glasses.
Oh,
so
that's
mature.
the greatest.
Well, I honestly, after saying all this, I was at a 7, but I'm going to give it a 6.5 because I really do like the first bit. It was just that ending. I'm like, what the fuck did they do here?
I've been
6.5.
Yeah, I'm wrong. 6.5. The DVD can be purchased. It's $20 for the DVD. It is Synapse, and you can get it on Amazon. So it is out there, but it needs a blue. How's that? Yeah. It needs this because it'll happen one day, like everything else, which is one of the great things about physical media. But that's another story. Okay.
Physical media. All right. Let's get on to movie number 3, directed by William Wesley, also written by him. Actually, the story was written by him, and this is Scarecrows.
Aha.
Criminals hijack a plane and force the pilot and his daughter to fly them to Mexico. However, an unexpected landing finds them in a cemetery inhabited by killer scarecrows.
Okay, this is the opposite effect that Evil Dead trap has had on me, where I've seen this movie 3 times, maybe 4 if you count the 80s, but I don't remember. So many of the movies that came out at this time period or in the 80s in general, I watched so many that I know I watched them, but I don't have recollection because I didn't watch them again until like the 2000s. So, but I'm sure I watched this when it first dropped, just don't remember the experience. But what I was trying to say was the opposite effect. Every time I watch this movie, I like it more.
Wow. Complete opposite effect for me.
Really?
And I'm with you, Dave, funny enough. But I'm not over the moon, but I liked it a little bit more each time.
I own this film, and every time I watch it, it goes down for me because it's just a tremendously missed opportunity because the highlight of the movie is just the straightforward eeriness of these scarecrows, and they're just not utilized enough. And it's just too much dialogue, shitty dialogue.
They do cutaway shots of them every 2 seconds in this movie.
Yeah, but it's that same one shot. It's that same shot shown over and over.
The guy breathing?
Yeah. The one scarecrow that looks like he's breathing. They use it over and over. It's like,
they do.
Me?
Well, this movie had a super low budget, and I admit, I think I only saw the R-rated version. I don't know if that was the only one available at the time, but I remember that it took out a lot of the stuff that I read about in Gore Zone or whatever it was, and I was looking forward to seeing it. So I remember thinking it was okay, but there's so much walkie-talkie dialogue going through the headsets at the beginning that you're just kind of like, is this how the movie is? Did they just ADR this whole fucking film? But
how about Bert's internal monologue when he screws them at the beginning? He jumps out of the plane, and then all of a sudden it's just an internal monologue. It's like for like 20 minutes.
But
walking around.
They did make it work. It could have been trimmed a little bit at the beginning. They were a little ambitious with the plane.
They set it up quickly, though. They did set it up quickly. Yeah. But why didn't that grenade explode? Like, the movie should have been over in 4 minutes. Like,
well, it did, just really shoddily in the special effects sequence of when they threw it out the window.
20 minutes later.
They played hot potato with it. They won.
Right, sometimes it happens. But the thing is, I like the fact that the Scarecrows, they get involved in the freaking in what's going on with the walkie-talkies and all that stuff, and they imitate other people. That's cool stuff.
That is cool. I can give that credit right there. But man, I don't know what it is. These characters, there's a lot of cringe, and there's just so much time with them. Although it's
funny because this is
God
low budget.
To Bert, your birthday's been canceled.
There's so much. This is so low budget that I find that it works in its favor. It becomes sort of its charm. I'm not saying it's perfect, but they really try to deliver here. Like, you get some good gory bits, which were not in that R-rated version.
Oh, yeah.
Like when the stuff with money, and then when they cut off the head and like or the neck, and they're trying to cut through the body to get the money. The dad up on the scarecrow, the cross, like all barbed wired in. There's some good gory bits.
I'm with you. And if this movie, good bits. If this movie was made now, with the low, budget, it wouldn't be anywhere near as good. And also, if this movie was made now and it was just this very movie, it came out the same way, people would be blowing it. I could see this movie just dropping on anywhere, and people would be like, man, if it came out of nowhere or something, I think people would really be into this movie.
I don't know, it's got an over $400,000 budget, $425,000 listed. Like, I don't know. They weren't paying these actors a lot because these were not the best of actors, but I felt like some of the kills were really cool and some of the gore was really good. I love Bert being all stuffed up with the money. That was really like unsettling and creepy, and some of the stuff towards the end. But like, even you spend so much time with Roxanne, who's our main like villain female mercenary, it's almost like one of the leaders. When she gets killed, it's very underwhelming, and I don't know why they do this. They show a close-up of 2 dice, and then they show the blood dripping on the dice, which makes it even less impressive than it already was, because there's like 2 drops of blood that land perfectly on the die, and how small are die to begin with. So like, shouldn't there just been a bucket of blood that just drowned these dice? Wouldn't that have been cooler?
Well, that's a callback to earlier, though.
Yeah.
When she sees the dice landed that way, and she remarks about it. This time, it was, remarkable that the blood landed on the same die as number, Snake Eyes. Yeah. So I think that was just a clever little thing, which, in another movie, they wouldn't have even given 2 shits about that. But
the bag of guts was cool. I'll give it that. The bag of guts in the tree when he cuts that. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Didn't the one guy remind you of Joe from Day of the Dead? He always seems like he was screaming his lines.
Oh, the guy who thought they were dead already?
Choke on them!
Yeah,
Choke on
the guy who at the end has a crazy theory that maybe we didn't make it out of the plane.
Yeah. Which is
that lunatic.
The one thing I could say about this is maybe some people will argue because it's so one note, you're going to expect the big, okay, what's this explanation going to be? Why is this happening? And I love it for not even trying to explain it.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes.
Yeah, but don't introduce the name the Fowlers and talk about the three brothers and show this graveyard and all that. The mythology of the Scarecrows and the brothers would have been more interesting than these one-note mercenary characters who just ripped off a, military base and are trying to get to Mexico.
That would have been okay in the sequel.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe I would have liked a sequel with better actors and more Scarecrows. But I'll admit the Scarecrows pick up in the end. But every time I saw them, I'm like, man, I just want Scarecrows. Stop talking. Let the Scarecrows just do their thing.
It's weird. Wow. It's so odd because I have trouble with dialogue in a couple movies we've already discussed so far. And for some reason, I was into the dialogue this time of this movie. And I don't know, it's just funny the way that works sometimes. I was okay with it. I was into the whole idea of what's going on here with the robbery and everything else. And I don't know. That worked for me this time around. And I don't know. I quite enjoyed it. It's a very eerie film. It's the atmosphere is really good, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Totally agree.
I like when they shoot Bert. I think it was not intentionally meant to be funny, but it's absolutely hilarious. They literally unload like 400 bullets into him before they decapitate him.
Yeah, it was cool when he showed back up. When he disappeared, then he showed up and everything else, and now they kicked his ass for so long. And how about when the guy says, he goes, I think we're being I think it's something about something's being possessed by demonic demons. He says, possessed by demonic demons. I think he's trying to be funny, but I mean, and the POV shots. We got POV shots from Scarecrows. That's cool, man.
No, there's good stuff. Did you read the bit of trivia that actor Ted Vernon hated the director? Vernon felt that Wesley was wasting money for the budget when the film was half done. Wesley said to him that he needed more money. Ted replied no, he had given him $300,000 for the film and that was enough. Wesley found the rest of the budget from the father of his girlfriend and co-producer Cammie Winikoff. When the film was almost done, Wilson said to Vernon that he would give executive producer credit to his girlfriend's father. Ted became furious and grabbed Wesley's neck and yelled, I'm the executive producer! You credit me or I'll kill you! And he played the bald mercenary guy.
He was the best. He was the best character, Corbin.
Yeah.
He was my favorite character.
Yeah, supposedly.
That happened?
Yeah, supposedly. It's in the trivia.
I'm Corbin, bitch!
Wow. Well, the girl in this movie, the girl who played the daughter, do you know that she is like worth a lot of money now? What the hell's her name? Victoria Christian? Something about Clive Christian Perfumes. That's like her father. And like, I guess she's worth all kinds of money because it's like some royal perfume or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, Prince William's involved with it or something. I don't know, but
I didn't think it was her performance that was gonna make her wealthy.
Leave her alone. What's wrong with her performance? You thought she was bad?
Nah, she's fine. She's better than these other guys running around.
Just didn't have enough conjoined twins bearing the way out of characters for his liking.
Oh, come on. Start bagging some crow turds. Change her diaper. Like, it's just,
Come on.
It's just cringe.
The final credits are great. The crows and the scarecrows.
Yeah. I was gonna roll my eyes at first. I thought they were gonna be called the crows, and the other ones were just gonna be called the scares. I would have been, but it said crows and scarecrows. And great ending too, man. A couple fake outs and some good stuff. I enjoyed it. A lot of people like this movie.
Yeah, it's grown on me. Like I said, it definitely. I enjoyed it a lot more than this. Watch it again. It's not super high, but an atmospheric, nice little movie.
The atmosphere is great, but I feel like there's so much missed opportunity. The Scarecrows look so great, and they really not until like the final 20 minutes do I feel like they're utilized enough.
Killing me. What do you want them to jump off and say? If I only had a brain.
They were so creepy. They were so creepy, man. Look, you really don't even see them that much moving. You see them very little moving. You see the one really pop out. But otherwise, it's just really like a suggestion, almost like your eyes are playing tricks on you. Even with that one shot they used over and over, which was really good with the breathing.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm saying, but focus more on the Scarecrows. They had more development than the characters.
Man, out of control.
And the poor dog. Now they got to kill the dog because it's got a taste for human flesh at the end. That would have been cool if when Daxie eats the flesh at the end, just some straw starts to grow out of his head.
I'd be cool with that.
And he turns into a scare dog.
I thought it got a little. I not to just totally ignore what you just said, Brandon, but
straw dogs.
Yeah, straw dogs. There you go.
Straw. That's better than scare dogs.
They got a little ambitious there with the plane fight finale. I think. I guess they wanted to up the ante for the final climax, but I think they could have easily just had it. The plane didn't have to take off.
Yeah, but she has to be distracted by the plane because she's trying to fly it.
Yeah, and they got to bring Daddy back because they leave him in that plane the whole movie, and you see him for a few minutes outside at the end. The big showdown with Corbin, who's now Kelly's new daddy, which is actually my favorite part because it's kind of sad because I liked Corbin. I wanted him to make it. He was just genuinely a good guy, even though they just got done killing half a dozen military police. It's such a weird little movie. It's not a bad movie. I don't know. The look of it, the look of the Scarecrows just makes me expect better.
All right. What Scarecrow movie do you like more?
Straw Dogs.
Oh, is it a Scarecrow movie?
No.
Oh, I never saw it. I heard people reference it many times.
I prefer Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
I like Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
Oh, there was one. There was one a couple of years ago, which was really good. Was it?
Husk.
The one where they make the masks and then the Scarecrows move really fast.
I don't know. I've never seen Husk, but I know some people are high on it.
There's one that I watched a couple.
It might be
last year or 2 years ago called Scarecrows. I thought it may have been a remake, and the first half of it was absolutely great. It's almost like they ran out of money, and then it just became kind of run of the mill and kind of shoddy in the second half. But had so much potential. That was just Scarecrows, 2017.
It is Husk. You're right, Dave. It is Husk.
Cool.
Husk happens to be a really good film.
I gotta get to it one of these days. It's streaming.
Looks like Smiley.
How about Scarecrow Slayer? Have you ever seen that one?
Buffy the Scarecrow Slayer?
No. Scarecrow Slayer? Well, don't. It's terrible.
I haven't seen a lot of Scarecrow movies.
2003. It's a 2.4 out of 10 on the B. It's fucking terrible. I think at the time I was working, whatever. I don't know why I rented it, but something happened. I think I rented it for a joke, hoping that it was going to be so bad it's good, and it wasn't even that. How about that? Scarecrow. Oh, forget it. I'm going off on a tangent. Anyway.
Are there any, besides Scarecrows and Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, I don't know of any other, really older Scarecrow films.
Oh, dude, there's a whole freaking thing. I think there's a bunch of Scarecrow 666 and something else, and I think there's a whole, what do you call it? A franchise. Yeah, no, a franchise of Scarecrows called Scarecrow something.
I bet Jim K is going to watch all of them.
He might not, but Jim from Toronto might.
Yeah, you're right.
So, what's the verdict then?
5 out of 10.
Whoa!
All right, maybe 5.5. 5.5, but because I do like some of the things in here, but just a missed opportunity. I just see it playing out differently, just more gore in certain areas, just better story development, and I could see this being a 8 out of 10, but nope, missed the mark.
8 out of 10, that's mine. There you go, thank you.
Wow.
Good segue. Yep. What about you, C?
I'm a nice boring 7 out of 10.
You are a nice boring 7.
7, huh? Another 7. Yeah. Okay. Is there going to be a movie we all agree on?
That's we really haven't agreed. Okay, let's get this next one out of the way. From 1988, directed by Mark Goldblatt. Dead Heat.
Dead Heat. Okay.
Dead Heat. A cop and his undead partner must chase down the diabolical villain who killed him. Again, the only other first-time watch for me. This and Lair of the White Worm.
What? Holy shit.
Were 2 movies I intentionally avoided. I had a very weird experience watching this. Like, at the end of the film, I was like, this was fun, but it's really a bad movie.
Oh, it's a dumb movie. This is a guilty pleasure movie, in my opinion. I've seen this movie more times than I want to admit. I've probably seen this movie 10 to 15 times.
Really?
Because when I first started clicking Fangoria, it was in the first, like, if it wasn't in the first issue, that was the Fright Night 2-1. I think it was the issue before or after, but I got it and I read up about it. I was really looking forward to it. And if it came to theater, it came and went. And I saw it on video. And the video box is not the one that's going to be on our poster art for the episode, but it looks like a bad cop movie. It's like they're holding guns, looking at the camera, and there's like an exploding ambulance behind them, and it says "Dead Heat." I'm like, wow, this is weird. And it was.
I didn't even know it was a horror. I didn't even know it was a horror movie.
Well, that was it. It was always rented out, and I thought it was an action. Coming back, well, this is the movie I read about in Fangoria. I'm pretty sure. Now they cut out a lot of what I heard that they wanted to do. There's still some good special effects, sloppy, but some good sequences of special effects in here. But they wanted to have a whole Death Day party at the end. Like at the when they go into the white, it just fades to white, and then that's the end of the movie. Supposedly there was supposed to be a Death Day party that was going to have a bunch of corpses and effects and whatever. I think would have been the icing on the cake. It's a bad movie. Joe Piscopo's lines are brutal.
Joe Piscopo is cringeworthy, man. But he's funny. He's funny in a funny way.
Trent Williams has one of the best lines that's always stuck with me. I still love it to this day. Zombie duckheads.
Yeah, but his brother Treat is much better in this film.
What did I call him?
Trent.
Treat.
I was waiting for
that.
Sorry.
Can't stand you.
No, tell us the line again, because that was funny.
Zombie duckheads. What a concept. Zombie duckheads was fucking.
Yeah.
That whole sequence in the Chinese shop, I thought is so ludicrous, but I love it.
Yeah, it was funny. What was that? Like a giant pig that comes out without a head?
It's like a whole bull, I think, like a cow.
Oh, is it a bull? Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, it was hilarious. It was huge.
Okay, this movie here, this is also a first time watch for me.
What?
Yeah, well, again, I thought it was just going to be comedy. I remember this, though. See, this is the weird part. This was on the cover of Fangoria, and I remember seeing the makeup effects from it and the way some of these zombies look and whatnot. Yes, but it still had Joe Piscopo in it. So at the time, Joe Piscopo was at the height of his comedy career. I was like, I just wasn't interested in seeing it. That's all there is to it. It was better than I expected it to be. So there's that. You know,
I don't know what I expected of this. I don't even know if my rating at the end is going to make sense, because I'll talk about some of the good things I liked about it. I like the fact that I've never seen two detectives who could care less that 85 of their fellow police officers were just gunned down in the most epic shootout at the beginning of the movie. And then they're just cracking jokes. Like, literally, they have like 90 police funerals to go to over the next few days.
There's some bad editing in this movie, but it is dumb fun. The zombie effects, some of them are good, some of them are lazy, but there's enough of them. Like, this is what it was at the time. Again, that 15-year-old me loved it. It was silly. I have to admit, I didn't even know who Joe Piscopo was, because I don't think I watched Saturday Night Live at that point. So I had no clue who Joe Piscopo was.
Wow, no shit.
I thought even some of the bad effects on the zombies were okay. I mean, obviously, like, the two-faced biker was awesome, but even like the ones that they're fighting outside the pool at the pharmaceutical girl's house, like, they're not bad looking. Like, they're zombie enough, and it's almost comical in a way when they kind of look half human, half zombie, versus all out like zombie mutants.
I like this like I like Return of the Living Dead 2. I know you guys don't like Return of the Living Dead 2, but this is just like dumb fun for me. I got pop it on. You can have it in the background. If you're half paying attention to it, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable time waster. Popcorn flick through and through. Except, yeah, some of Joe Piscopo's lines are, as we've said, cringy.
It was what I expected, though, from this movie. That's the thing. That was expected of 80s wisecracks from a freaking 80s comedian. That's what I imagine, I don't know, all those buddy cop movies from the 80s to be like. Just people making weird, I don't know, jokes.
And from the storyline perspective, I thought it was rather predictable. I hadn't seen it before, yet I knew there was something up with McNabb. Not only because you got Darren McGavin playing the character, but you could just tell like this guy's behind it somehow. And the way that plays out is pretty cool. I like how they get him at the end.
Yeah, that was cool.
But it felt like a waste with Vincent Price's character.
I think Vincent Price was at the end of his rope, and he was just kind of.
Yeah, but it feels like they didn't know what to do with him. It feels like they almost hired him just to like throw him on screen, which maybe they did.
I think they did.
Like a small
but
role.
it's weird. Like
to have him.
They didn't even kill him at the end. He's also behind this, and they don't even kill him at the end. Like, what's the deal with that?
Well, the whole place blows up.
Yeah, well, yeah, but no, doesn't he get out? Doesn't he get out? I thought. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't remember.
But from a comical sense, it's comedic throughout. But I thought they missed an opportunity with the girls, especially because the girls' deaths were, rather like, I don't want to say shocking, but kind of like dark.
It was amazing. The reveal of freaking who was it? Becky?
Her meltation and her arm snapping off.
Rebecca was the other one. That's
Okay, Randy.
Randy, yeah.
Okay. Randy, with her reveal and all that stuff, and when she starts to decompose, dude, that scene was probably the best scene in the movie, followed by the freaking food coming back to life, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I want to, dude, that freaking 5-10 minutes of the food coming back to life, I would just take that and show it to anybody. Say, look at this. This is freaking great.
I think it's on YouTube. It is great, except every line Joe Piscopo says, "Oh, that's gross. Oh, I'm definitely a vegetarian." Like every fucking word that he has no comic delivery. This is why I'm like, this guy's a comedian. I felt like if maybe he just didn't want to. I honestly think he didn't want to be in on it, because why the hell, when they show his big bloated head in the fish tank, when he comes back, he looks totally normal. It's almost like he said, "You're not putting one fucking dab of makeup on me."
It's Beetlejuice. This is what happens when you die. And this is what happens when he dies.
But like he comes back not really one drop of makeup, really.
Yeah, he comes back as Joe Piscopo. He doesn't even come back with a wet shirt. He's dry. I mean,
kill this man, will you? Kill this man, would you?
I'm just saying, if you're talking about like was that for real with having a party in the afterlife?
Yeah, I remember. This is back in the day when I read about the paper plate and everything else, like the plate in the head, like, when I would read shit thoroughly. And in Fangoria or Gorezone, they had them, this may have been the segment, it's not a horror movie or one of those ones, and they talked about some of the effects that were cut out of the movie. Either they didn't film them or they cut them out. One of the two. I don't have that great of a memory that I can remember that part. And it was a death day party at the end. And
that would have been cool if the girls were there too.
Well,
I don't know why.
They talk about a death day party in the movie.
Yeah, it felt like a shift in tone every time, and I agree with you, Dave. The Randy's reveal and decomposition was frightening, but at the same time, it also just felt like sad and heartbreaking.
Except when her head falls off, and then her face melts away, and she's still saying stuff.
Oh, it was a little cheesy,
throat.
but yeah, I know. I'm like, how's she talking? I know, but creepy still.
Creepy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It was a shift in tone, though.
You thought there was a shift in tone? You thought there was, in one way, it was a bit
darker, much darker.
I want that in my horror. That's fine. That makes it kind
of. I don't mind that in a horror, but when you're set up for this for the first half hour of what we got, it's like this is straight up comedy horror.
Right, but I'm glad they shifted that way because it's.
But then at the end, they're back to ridiculous, and even them walking into the afterlife is comical and funny and goofy, and it just would have made more sense if they had like decomposing women, and Joe Piscopo was cracking wise about finding better looking women in heaven or something.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
But nah, I mean it's a fun. I can't rate this movie that high, but it's a fun movie. I agree with you. You could throw this on over and over, but I don't know.
Wow,
now the makeup effect, the practicals are good. The Two-Face guy, the
Two-Face guy was awesome. I love the decompression chamber and the Two-Face.
Yeah. That was cool. How about the guy's name is Mortis? That's ridiculous.
They couldn't make. I love when they do play on names, but that one was stupid. Mortis.
Yeah, Mortis. Yeah. Right. So on the nose, There is something funny though. In these movies where you always see the punch noises, and then the guy throws a punch, and you hear that. You know, there was one scene where one of them was punching a guy underwater. I think it was there. He fell into a hot tub, and he punched him underwater, and you hear the punch noise.
Well,
who would be sitting there in ADR saying, "Okay, put the punch noise there"?
Well, they looked like they had a fun time making this thing. Joe Piscopo punches, I think, that zombie's balls off because you see him doing some lower body work, and then he's like, the zombie looks down like, oh, and Joe's like, oh, his response, and like, they obviously cut that out, but it looks like he punched the fucking balls off of him. Maybe he speed bagged them.
Speaking of, listen, I can't believe that this line was said in a movie, but he says at the end that he wants to come back as the seat of a girl's bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit, that doesn't age well, huh? a woman's bike, maybe. A girl, I mean, you know, shit. Ooh.
It's like that song where the guy sings about the girl he's in love with and how nobody approves of it, and the opening line is, she's just 16 years old.
She's just 16 years old.
Leave her alone. They say.
Yep.
Dude,
Right.
Dude,
Sweet little 16.
How much do you think this guy regrets if he's still alive? Why didn't I just say 18?
I know.
She's just 2 years from legal.
Yeah.
What? I like that song too.
Me too. I'd pick you up. Yeah.
I love it.
It's good. What about Sweet Little 16? You know, all that stuff. What about She's Only 17? Although that is legal in most states.
Yeah, she's
That's what I'm saying.
close.
Is it like maybe that was what? Maybe they upped the age. I forgot two things.
16 in Vegas. Don't ask me
Maybe
how
that's
I
where the
know.
song was done. I forgot to say something in Scarecrows really quick. There's a line in that movie. All this time you've been jerking us off with sandpaper. I don't know why that stuck out,
yeah.
but I thought that was funny. And as a soundtrack, it was very reminiscent of older horror films, like the Dracula and Frankenstein style. I don't know why. That's what I thought. And the last line was, "How are we going to live in Mexico if we're dead?" 3 notes that I totally forgot to mention from Scarecrows. But this one it definitely had.
The music was good. The
That's
score
right.
was creepy. I like the opening with those rustling wind noises and stuff.
When Treat Williams gets excited about his plan to get out of that ambulance that he's been attached to, his reaction when he's going down that hill, because the speed that picks up, and he's like, oh my, like his face there, it's absolutely hilarious.
Oh, that's a great noise. We got to get that keyboard thing or whatever the hell it is so I can isolate Christian doing that and play it every so often.
I expect him to do the Norma Bates every time.
Oh, amazing.
It would have
How
been
about
funny if, as the ambulance was rolling, Rebecca woke up and he's like, "What? You're not dead?" Because if she wasn't dead, then if she was just drugged out, the ambulance freaking explodes. But that's funny when he comes out and he's like, "I'm a detective. I'm gonna need your firearm."
How about the way he looked? He looked so unnatural with the gun. Treat Williams, and he was running, and he was holding the gun like awkwardly. He was running down a hallway. Did you guys notice that? Just didn't look right. I don't know.
Well, they had no
the crazy
problem
thing-
shooting the security guards either. That these guys, like, they're the bad guys. These security guards are just doing their job.
I know, right? Well,
yeah, but they're
why did
security
that guy
guards
shoot-
at a corrupt company, so they
Right.
yeah. I
'Cause
like
the
the way
guy
they
at the
shoot
desk-
the front. Yeah, the receptionist. They shoot him in the fucking head.
Well, he shot first.
He did
shot
shoot
them.
first, but it is funny. The callous disregard for human life in this film is,
Michael
whether
Bay-esque.
intentional or not, hilarious.
This is a Michael Bay film before Michael Bay. Oh, there's a timer. I just want to say one last thing about. This was one of the movies that was on my. I've always wanted to see the uncut or unrated version. I kind of wish they had like a uncensored version of this because I've seen it so many times.
Oh man, somebody get on it. That would be nice. Well, how high are you on this one? I'm curious.
No, I'm not. See, that's it. I try to be realistic. I probably would have been like, a 7.5 down way back when, but I'm 6.75.
Oh, okay. I'm a 7. 7 out of 10.
5.5 out of 10.
Oh man, we
And
just can't seem to get it
No,
together.
effects are good, but I don't know. I need everything to balance out to make a really quality movie. And this one and Scarecrows, although I'll admit I'll rewatch both of them, they're just not good films to me. So I just can't go any higher.
Hey, that's fair, buddy. It is what it is. Well, I know we're gonna at least agree on one movie for sure. So, but I'm just surprised for 4 movies. Nothing's had all stellar or all bad ratings.
Oh wait, can I change my rating?
Of course, there's no rules here.
Okay, I'm gonna bump it up to 5.75 Trent Williams out of 10 Trent Williams.
You can't change your rating.
Williams. Trent Williams. It sounds like a bad quarterback from the NFL, like a freaking third stringer. And Trent Williams, the third stringer for the Buccaneers.
And Treat Williams is so much better.
No, Treat's a terrible name, but at least it's.
Oh, you know what's a crazy thing? You talk about how awkward he is in this, and it's noticeable. But he went on to do like the sequels to the Substitute films, where he plays like a mercenary, he goes undercover, you know, and they're fun films. And he's much better at handling weapons than that. I bet you he did some actual weapons training for that.
Well, I don't know if you saw this one, but it's perfect for the season. He's also in Trick or Treat Williams.
Oh, perfect. That's as Halloween as we're gonna get this month, everybody.
Halloween.
That's as Halloween as this show is gonna get this month, because this is all that's coming out. Well, maybe another one. We don't even know. But although that's what Patreon is for, we'll probably do a Halloween thing on Patreon. But we'll leave it at that for now.
What's next? Asshole cheeks.
Asshole cheeks. All right. Let's jump into 1988's Brain Damage, written and directed by Frank Henenlotter. One morning, a young man wakes to find that a small, disgusting creature has attached itself to the base of his brainstem. The creature gives him a euphoric state of happiness, but demands human victims in return.
But
Aylmer.
Aylmer. You think he's disgusting?
That's what IMDb thinks. I don't know. There's something cute about him.
Yeah, there is. I don't think he's disgusting. I mean, he's weird looking, and he's.
I mean, it's gross.
Shape.
He is kind of he's phallic and slug-like and slimy, so I can get why people would say disgusting. But like, I don't know. Once he starts talking or singing, he's adorable.
Oh, his song is
great.
That
voice, that song, everything is fantastic.
It's awesome. Oh, isn't it though? I remember the first time I heard it. The first time I saw this movie, way back in '88 when it first came out, and and when he starts talking, oh, hello. Great, man. Oh, and that song, I wish I could remember the lyrics to it.
But, you know what? I was almost going to go back and write some of them down, but I didn't. But, man. And you have Zachary doing the voice of Elmer.
Yeah, great. And he does a great job. This is my favorite Frank Henenlotter film. It's
me too.
I've watched this again. I rented this. They only had the R-rated version. I remember again another one from Gore Zone, thinking, "Oh my God, this is going to be a gory film." And it had blood, it had gore, but it wasn't over the top. There was no unrated version for the longest time. So I had the R-rated videotape and VHS, and I wore that out.
Oh, I used to watch it all the time.
It's a fun movie. I think our conversation is gonna kind of determine where I rate this, but I like Henenlotter. I'm not as high on his films as other people are. I like his films. I'm not a particularly huge fan of Frankenhooker. It's between this and Basket Case, obviously, for my favorites. But again, I just don't know how high I am. I do love, the opening title sequence, the blue lightning. Great. It's fantastic. Yeah. The score in the movie is fantastic. There's a lot of really good things in there.
The callbacks, the Basket Case. You got the black woman, Tennant. Yep. You've got obviously Dwayne on the subway. It's great. He's got a whole sequence of him walking down in New York, very very similar to I think a scene in Basket Case, where I think Dwayne's doing it.
You got the Ackermans. You got Martha and Martha.
Yeah, they're great. The way the movie starts and how they're flipping out. Oh my God. Look what we got for you!
Where he's looking for him is hilarious. If you actually look at what he's doing to try to find where he could be, it's absolutely
a cereal
hilarious.
Box?
Yeah, I know. Anywhere.
It was his fault, though. He was giving him cheap animal brains.
Right, but I mean, they were trying to do the right thing. They don't have to kill anybody. and they can still get their fix.
Yeah.
So they had the right idea. And what else?
No, they did.
Yeah, what would you do? That's a good idea. They were trying to get top of the line brains. They were just getting some stray cat. You know what I mean? They were getting like something from the butcher shop. You know,
The problem is,
that's
though,
what
like,
I would do.
even if when they go through withdrawal, that scene's great, but it's almost like they never recover from that. So they never get get back to normal. Even at the end there, he looks like, I think they have like a makeup effect on him that he's looking like pretty beat up still. And
Yeah, that's the whole drug commentary of the film is the law of diminishing returns with drugs. You take it a few times, you have this great euphoric effect, and then you need more and more, and to the point where nothing satisfies you, and you're just completely run down and just a shell of your former self.
well, see that.
All right,
that
maybe I'm getting a little deep.
No, but maybe that's what it was, because he's actually said that there was no drug message to this movie, which
Bullshit.
it comes through one way or the other.
His brain is literally fried at the end.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's a statement. Everyone knows you get high and then you have withdrawal.
And then,
I mean, it doesn't mean
you have an exploding head.
Right. Yeah. Boom. And maybe he loves drugs. I mean, someone that makes a movie like that, I wish I could take a drug that would cause that effect. That's like almost promoting certain things. Like when he goes to the freaking, what do you call it? The junkyard, and he sees all those cars, and he's like, wee, he's jumping around, and he's seeing all those colors. That's something that I wish I could experience. He looks like he's having a blast.
I get satisfaction every time I see the blue liquid hit the brain.
Oh,
it's
dude.
very satisfying just seeing that little bit of liquid just dripping over the brain. I'm like, ah.
And the little electricity.
Yeah.
It's great, man.
The funniest part, I've always thought this was awkward, is when he does that thing in the junkyard, and then they do that cutaway to the security guard, hearing him, and then they cut back to him, and then they come back to the security guard, and it's a pan up of his uniform, and it's like him, and he loads his gun, but it's so awkwardly staged. You know what I'm talking about? It's such an odd shot. I've always wondered it. It's always like a fish out of water. Like, we're gonna pan up. Okay, we're coming up to your head now. Now cock your gun, and now you're ready for action. It was the weirdest thing.
Almost as bad as the shot in the junkyard in Nightmare 4 when Freddy's back, Freddy's back, and then it goes way, way, way high, and then it cuts. Instead of zooming back down, it cuts, and all of a sudden the very next shot is freaking Freddy face to face with him, which is awkward.
Yeah,
something about junkyards and horror movies. I don't know. Although it's street trash. There's some good shots in a junkyard there.
Oh my God! Do you know I've never seen street trash?
What? Somebody put it on the Patreon. Holy cow!
You've mentioned that on the show before. I'm shocked. That's about dialogue and gore.
Yeah, that's one of the few films. Like when I mentioned, like people are like, "Oh, you've never seen," because there's a couple of films like that, like big films. That's one of them.
Well, I don't want to blow it up too much for you, and I haven't watched it.
No, but I need to see it.
When I was a kid, it was freaked ass, Had a lot of fun with that one. I don't know.
I like when Morris gives him the history of the Elmer.
The
awe-inspiring famous one.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's great.
Elmer.
You fucking named him Elmer? I love that. He's all high.
Elmer. The awe-inspiring famous one.
Oh, that's great, man.
That whole history was awesome. And then he wound up in Berlin.
Yeah, I like that. I always like those.
I loved it.
Yeah.
The wife screaming is unsettling.
Oh, she's freaking brutal. I mean, in a good way, though.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like I had to keep lowering it because my wife was in the house, and this woman, like right off the beginning, she's screaming, and then later on, she's screaming. She was screaming like freaking a banshee. Screaming like banshee,
I will say, there's a lot of great in this movie, but it's a fairly one-note movie. It doesn't necessarily elevate. It doesn't get to a climax necessarily, which is what they give it that big ending. A lot of people think it's a detriment to the film. I don't
mind it. I feel like it's, you know what? That's why I draw it back to the whole drug thing. It just feels like, like a PSA, like a big public service announcement at the end. His head explodes and it's literally he's gone as a result of his addiction to the did they ever say what the drug is?
No, it's his juice. They just call it. He just calls it his juice.
Elmer's Elmer's.
Nice.
They should make a blue drink called Elmer's juice. That should be if I was a bartender still, I would create my own blue drink and call it Elmer's juice.
But at the end, like, I mean, what's next? Like, you're right. His mind's totally gone, and he literally his head's become a searchlight. It's just a beaming halo of light, but he's still alive.
His kills are great though. When he kills the girl, he's pulling her brains out through her mouth.
Oh, the blowjob kill.
Yeah,
you should have remembered that when it was
kill.
R-rated, it was like cut to crap. You didn't really know what the hell was going on. Like,
yeah, I was really conflicted watching that. I had a massive erection, yet I'm like, you shouldn't have this. Like, what's going on?
They cut the hell out of that scene, and they cut the hell out of the scene when he ripped the brain out of his head. Yeah. When the first time I saw it, remember that scene when they they just see his ear on the ground and then he flashes, but you miss him pulling the brain out, which is the best part.
Pulling the brain out, and then it cuts to his whole head, side of the head cracking open, and just gallons of blood shooting out of it.
Did you know Lamont? Dude. Did you know Lamont was in this?
Lamont Sanford?
Configuration?
Yeah, the black guy in the toilet that Elmer kills. The guy says, "Lamont, is that you?"
Awesome. Lamont Sanford, probably.
How about that bodybuilder? That was a weird scene.
Yeah.
That was
that was awkward. And what was even more awkward is I had a massive erection.
I knew that was coming.
I'll tell you what, how about when he says, when he eats the brain, and he says, "How is it?" And he says, "Not bad. A bit underdone." He says,
yeah, Elmer's very fun.
Yeah, and the brain meatballs when they freaking go out when he goes out to dinner with his girlfriend.
Oh man, dude,
that's a better meatball.
Those are nauseating.
They are nauseating.
It works much better than it does in Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Oh, Rick,
spicy
you little meatball. I love soul food. I love that sequence. Everything about the effects in this movie are great. It was a huge jump up I found from Basket Case. I mean,
years have passed, you know.
Yeah, but that like it's weird that he wasn't able to do another movie in between.
Did he do Basket Case 2 in between this and that?
Basket Case 2 and 3 came after this.
Okay, they came in like real quick too. They must have both come out. All three of those movies probably came out, well, 4, including Basket Case, by 1990, 91 at the latest, I'm thinking. Because like 2 and 3, I think, from memory, they came out like really quick within each other, close to each other. I don't know, I could be wrong.
Within each other. Part 3 was within Part 2.
Yes, exactly. It was hidden.
Another part when Brian is withdrawing and they're in that shithole tenement, like apartment. It's just disgusting. When he's like calling up to the sink, and Elmer's singing or whatever like that, but he's like, "Oh, Brian, hey, hello there, Brian. Oh, how are you?" I fucking lose my mind every time. It's great.
No,
go
ahead.
It was just very weird that Brian has that whole dream sequence where he's having a threesome with his girlfriend and his brother.
Yeah, it's like I think he can pick up on something going on. You know what I mean? It went into his subconscious. Yeah. That's what I think. You know, like he feels his brother has feelings for that girl because they're all in the same house. Well, they were in the same apartment together for a time.
It looked like, is it me or is the brother's bed like right by the front door?
I think he's on the couch. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're just sharing, like a fold-out couch.
Yeah.
I don't know why I noticed that. I'm like, he's sleeping, and then like someone walks in the apartment, and like right there.
The futon, baby. What do you want? I don't understand why Elmer is surprised that he doesn't remember. He's like, "Oh, seriously? You don't remember?" He tells him. You know, wouldn't he be used to this by now with all the people over all the years that they get high and they don't remember their actions?
Well, it seemed like Elmer was giving them just enough, but they should be able to still be in control of themselves.
I don't know. It just seemed weird. Like he would know how it works, you know?
Or is he just playing with them? Like I would agree,
maybe.
Brandon. Sorry, Dave. I would agree with you, but
I would agree, Brian, Brandon, Dave, Trent.
Brian.
Trent? Is that you, Trent?
Oh, shit.
Fuck the loathing I have. That's going to be my new movie, The Loathing.
Here's what I don't get. Why does he grab her head during the blowjob scene? Because it's not really a blowjob. It's like he's contributing to the killing. He forcibly holds her head as if she's giving him.
Because
That's
he's
comedic
feeling
value.
the euphoria of and he's feeling the euphoria of the drug.
I guess, but that's an awful that's a grab. That's like when you're really turned on by a girl and you grab their head and they're down for it and you do it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, I guess comedic value is a good answer.
I think it was comedic value, but I don't disagree with you. Like, I mean, I think people would actually remember, or Elmer would know that people would forget these things or whatever. But I guess for the movie's sake, it's fine. I never questioned it until you brought it up.
That's what I do, buddy. Well, I'll say this. This movie should be more of a cult classic than it is. This is the kind of movie that I think that I'm surprised more people like outside of the horror realm don't talk about. Because yes, it is a horror movie, and yes, there are some gore scenes, but it has enough of that silly stuff that it isn't like Dead Alive, like, you know what I mean? I can see this movie being passed around, you know, I don't know, high school, in college, and things like that, and, you know, even older people just, you know, getting together and watching this movie. You don't hear anybody talk about it. I think it's kind of a shame that you never hear.
I feel the opposite. I feel like it has like a huge cult following.
You think it does, really? Brain Damage?
Maybe it's just amongst the horror community, though.
I think so. I think Basket Case probably has more notoriety with the average Joes, and that's not even all that much. I don't know. I think this movie should be more widespread, and I'm not even saying just amongst the horror fans. I just mean it just seems like a cult classic that a lot of people
ass
love.
cheeks.
You leave my ass cheeks out of this.
Woo!
You sounded like Elmer there. Woo, Brian.
Oh, Brian. No, now I can't do it. I wish I could do a song. Who is it? It's Elmer's song. Oh, man. I give it 7.5.
Okay. I don't feel too bad then about my rating. 7.25.
Ah, okay.
And I'm at an 8.75.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Jesus. Just like the girl in the club, he's given this one a deep blowjob.
Yeah. No. This has always been a personal favorite of mine. As I said.
Oh! Is
Nice.
your mascara running?
I was very happy to revisit this one.
No, that's cool. I feel like a lot of people like truly love this. I felt like when coming in the 7 area was going to be low.
And it is.
I don't know. Again, this is another one that I've seen this before, but I didn't see this one till much later on. So I've seen it, you know, a handful of times, but probably for the first time a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I've seen it for years, and I still enjoy it. Still enjoy it. It's held up.
It grows on me, and Elmer's just, I mean, he's a scene stealer.
Yeah, and it's fun to watch this movie with friends. This is the kind of movie, you know, it's better off with
missing friends.
That's right. You need to have a buddy for this. Yes.
But
you didn't come up on it, though. You didn't come up on it, B, the way we did. You know what I mean?
And Christian went down on it.
Woo!
Well, we're halfway there.
Yeah, buddy.
Halfway there.
Living on a prayer.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on.
What do you say we do one from 1988?
I like the way you think, buddy.
Okay, let's jump right into American Gothic.
Aha!
Group of travelers make emergency landing on an island in the Pacific Northwest after their seaplane malfunctions and stumble across an isolated and psychopathic family.
Weirdos,
Okay.
weirdos, we're a bunch of weirdos. Weirdos. We're a bunch of weirdos.
It's Granny, right?
That's the jump rope scene, or is it the swing scene?
I think it's a jump rope.
I think it is too.
Yeah, because that bitch calls them weirdos, and then they all start singing.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this movie, I don't know about you, Christian, but I used to see this movie up with the rest of the VHSs back in the day.
Yes.
And I never watched it. I was never intrigued by the cover because I was like, well, what do I care about a couple old people killing? That's just the way I felt. Little did I know that it's really not old people killing.
Yeah.
This movie is kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Misrepresented when you look at that cover.
Well,
because you
that
don't
covers
know
a
there's
play
kids.
on, that famous.
I know what
famous,
it is,
yeah,
American Gothic. I know. True. I guess they can't have kids with the American Gothic painting. So now it makes sense. But had I have known that it was a fucked up family.
But if they showed the kids like in the background of this American Gothic like photo, like then actually like dressed up the way they are in this movie,
Right.
like then you would be like, all right, I want to see this. But yeah, I could see you being like turned off, because I remember seeing this in the VHS, and again, another one I avoided for a long time. And this is one, the more I watch, this one keeps going up for me.
Oh, first time watch for me. So
Okay, this one keeps going up for me every time I see it. And I've only seen it a handful of times, so maybe 3 or 4 times. A small hand, or a misshapen hand.
Second time watch I did watch it back in the day. I remember liking it. Kind of like I kind of remembered it as like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre esque, like Leatherface without the chainsaws. Part 3 without the chainsaws, but
I
not
can buy that.
Maybe not quite as violent. Although there's some great sequences in this movie.
It's a different type of movie.
Yeah, it's actually got like a story to it. It's got a setup that plays into it, and diving deep into our main character's psychosis even long before we get to our villains. So you have an interesting character in Cynthia, even though she's not like giving a blow-away performance here, but that they're gonna play into this somehow as the story plays out with the death of her baby, and the fact that she just got out of the hospital, and that this is gonna either save her or haunt her in the end.
Who leaves a kid on a baby in a tub with what? Stupid.
Thank you.
Dude, I feel like that happened all the time in the 80s, right? I feel like that was an 80s thing.
It's like the 80s equivalent of keeping a kid in a hot boiling car in the summer now.
Fucking idiot. Dude, thank you so much, C, because I'm looking at my notes. And the first note says this: TV movie credit sequence, which is self-explanatory. Yeah. The next note is dummy, dummy, dummy. And I'm reading this, and I'm thinking of Brandon.
Are you sure that? Are you thinking of Pin or me?
I'm trying to figure out what this note is and why I wrote dummy, dummy, dummy. And I was actually gonna just say to hell with it and tell you guys that what's dummy, dummy, dummy. It's in my notes. But as soon as Christian said that, as I'm watching the movie, and I see this woman do her thing, and she leaves her infant baby in the tub to answer the phone or some shit. Yeah. As I'm watching the movie, I'm calling her dummy. I'm getting angrier by the second. I'm like, you know what? I had no remorse for that character. All I had was contempt. And I just kept calling her a dummy. Out loud, I was watching the movie going, dummy. I was so mad.
How many times did you say dummy?
Yeah.
Can't say it enough.
You would have hated the lead-up scene that I actually heard was cut. She comes home. First off, she's delivering a tire, and there's this bony little cat on the side of the road, and she just fucking punts it to the side to get home to wash the baby in the tub.
This shit happened though. I remember hearing these nightmare stories of people, leaving their kids in the tubs and the kids, drowning. This happened like all the time. I felt like
it does happen. It's just totally avoidable.
I'm not saying she's not a dummy. Oh, of course it's totally avoidable, but they had to set it up somehow.
I guess it just pissed me off.
The fact that usually people leave the room for like a second to like go grab the phone. Like she went downstairs, had a sandwich, watched a show.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so angry. I was like, you know what? If you're setting this person up to be the main character that I'm supposed to care about, you have failed. And then by the time we get to her friends, and when they get to the place and the way they're talking, they're a bunch of jerks. Not all of them, because the one scene with the swing, that kid, he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, he was genuinely being nice.
Yes, he was. And why not? So what if these people are the way they are? They're not hurting anybody. I mean, at the time, this is what this is me as the viewer. This is what I'm seeing. They're just, this girl is obviously not 12 years old, and these people are old-fashioned and everything else, and they're strange, but they're helping us out. They're letting us stay here. And if this girl asks me to go on the swing and she's talking to me, I'm not going to call her fat or freaking be mean to her or for she's not doing anything wrong. So I felt for him when he died. It's too bad.
Rob, you want to go on the swing, Rob? Come on, Rob. Okay.
When he flies airborne, I fucking lost my mind.
Oh.
Dude, it's one of the funniest kills ever in a horror movie. It really is. Like, who puts a swing that close to a cliff? Like, he literally flies off the cliff.
It's good, though. And who's responsible for their murder, by the way?
Woody.
Sweet Pea.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny that we only talk
Sweet
about him
Pea.
from Sweet Pea, yet
He's got
what's
like
his name?
100
He's such a
something
great
films.
actor. And he's
Oh,
such a good,
I
such a
know.
good actor too. But
He's great, but I can never get past his freaking.
You know what I keep always referencing into, and I even did it this time, is Scrooged.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh, you've never seen? Oh, I love it. He plays one of like the he's like a homeless guy and he's in the shelter and he thinks Bill Murray is Richard Burton. He's like, come on, Dick, how's Liz? And he's like, do an impression for us, Dick. And it's really funny.
Sweet Pea. He's great.
The skeleton baby is fucking creepy.
Ooh,
Skeleton Baby
boy.
is really creepy.
That thing is. What the hell is it? How did it get that way? Is it a skeleton? Looks like it's mummified. Oh, it's
Was it my guess? I don't know, but my guess is either one of the other dollies that was on the island that they killed, or maybe Franny had an incestuous baby
Ooh,
that died.
boy, yeah, it does go kind of to.
It's really well. It is really well acted, and there's enough good stuff. That whole end part I totally forgot about. So then I'm like, oh, is she just putting on an act? She's not really going crazy, but she's going to act crazy. But she actually fucking becomes one of them until that whole baby scene, the baby washing scene.
I really love the final act. I really love the way they switch Cynthia's character up and where it went. That's the whole last act is pretty solid. The movie as a whole is just good, not great.
I think it's awesome. I love it.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Wow. Nice. Good.
Hey, woods or woods?
Woods or woods?
Woods or woods?
Is that what he says?
I only die for Muff. She's like, you want to go scuba diving? I only die for Muff. How about Terry scuba diving off the cliff?
Oh, yeah.
And she falls and cracks her head?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was the funniest thing ever.
Damn.
And the look that Pa gives her when she takes a piece of bread before prayers?
Oh, yeah. You know who Pa is, by the way?
Rod Steiger.
Yeah.
Oscar-winning actor. Fantastic
Right.
actor. And
He was-
Yvonne DiCarlo plays Ma from The Munsters.
What? Really?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that was her. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And this
Rod
is the guy that
Steiger,
this is the guy that directed The Incubus that we just talked about.
Okay, yeah.
And he went on to do Howling 4.
Your sister square dances?
No, the original Nightmare, I think.
Oh, okay.
Marsupials?
Ridiculous. I can't believe Rod Steiger. Yeah, I was like, wow. First he did, then he did Amityville Horror. He was the priest in that movie. I'm blind. And then this, man.
I thought the kills were really good.
They were fun. Yeah.
I thought it was a good mix-up. The swing kill is great. You got the needle in the eye for the husband or the father of the baby, and when Terry gets killed, because you want her to survive, and she gets killed, that's brutal. When the big guy just like snaps her neck.
Yeah, it's just blunt.
Yeah, that got dark.
It's funny. This was rated as a 1997 or 1987 film on IMDb, but it wasn't released until '88.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait. 87, you said?
Well, that it's listed as an 87, but then it says May 1988. It was officially released.
Yeah, I think this was the only one that did say 87, not 88. But yeah, it was released then. Who knows?
I don't remember this coming to theaters or anything.
No, of course not. Theaters. Although back then, maybe. I don't know. Who am I to say?
I think this is a major release. Wasn't this like an MGM? I'm pretty sure it had like some...
I think you're right. I do remember seeing MGM in the beginning.
It says that's a theatrical release poster, so it did have a theatrical release.
Wow.
I mean,
American Gothic.
Not to say that they weren't doing direct-to-video productions back then as well. We know they were. However, I don't know. I have this feeling it might have gotten a theatrical release.
I guess back then, yeah. You'd be surprised at some of the things that did come out. Country of Origins, United Kingdom and Canada. How about that one?
British Canadian.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, it's BC. How about that? Vancouver?
Yeah, BC, British Canadian.
Yeah. Wow. No, I thought you meant Bill Casanelli. I couldn't find out if it had a theatrical. I was looking up the information, but
when she kills the family at the end, That's all good stuff too.
Yeah.
And she goes on the fucking killing spree. Beautiful. Sticks those 2 knitting needles.
That was good stuff. Yep.
Yeah, when she beats Fanny to death with the bucket.
And him renouncing God. Him renouncing God only to get killed. Right? Give him soul to Satan, only then to be killed. I thought that was kind of awesome. Justice.
I like that she stops for a cookie in the middle of her killing spree. That was just a great touch. She just goes to the cookie jar like, I'm gonna have a cookie right now.
That was good. I like the way she looked when she got in that role. She looked almost like a different person. As soon as she dressed up that way and pulled her hair back and in those pigtails and
she looked like a big dolly.
Exactly. Yes.
That was creepy in the basement with the big dollies.
Yeah, dude.
This was a nice little surprise. I mean, I remember it, but I enjoyed it a little bit more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, I guess I could say I did because I didn't have really high hopes.
Yeah, did you really think Fanny was turning 12?
Give or take.
Naughty Teddy.
I wonder even how that the whole situation came about. That would be a good prequel.
How they ended up on that island?
Yeah, how they just so happened to have 3 people that acted like they were children. You know what I mean? How they got together that way? Or are they their children? And they couldn't be. Could they be their children? And they just stayed.
They are their children.
You think so?
Yeah. I think it's just a case of crazy parents not, raising their children, just, kind of keeping them as children from the very beginning of life.
They seem so close in age. They look like the parents were like 60 and the kids were like 50.
You know the crazy thing? Michael Pollard, who plays Woody, still looks the same today, and this is 30 years ago. He looked old when he was younger, and he just stayed that look till now. He's like 80 years old, and he still looks like he did in 1988.
It's like
it's crazy.
He's got the Steve Martin.
Yeah, it's like exactly like Steve Martin. Steve Martin looked like Steve Martin 40 years ago and hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it?
Well, how high are you, Brandon?
7.5 out of 10.
Oh, that's not that. Okay, I'm a 7 out of 10.
And I'm 6.5.
I'll say this. If we were doing our top 50 slashers now, this would be on the list. I don't think I even watched this for that show.
I don't think I considered it a slasher because I thought it was more of a crazed family. I considered, if we weren't considering Leatherface a slasher, I wasn't considering American Gothic a slasher.
Maybe that's why we didn't watch it. Maybe we didn't consider it at the time. But if we were considering it, this would easily make my top 50.
This would be just below Prom Night 4. I'm kidding. I'm going to take heat for that forever.
You know why we didn't have it as a slasher anyway? We decided that slashers can't have multiple killers.
Remember it had to be North American, and this was British Canadian. Okay, next up, let's go into Wes Craven's The Serpent and the Rainbow. An anthropologist goes to Haiti after hearing rumors about a drug used by black magic practitioners to turn people into zombies. Now, let me tell you something. I saw this movie maybe twice before. Never really cared for it. Not really a big voodoo person. Man, I don't know what the hell was wrong with me, because this movie is fantastic.
And I had the opposite feeling. I loved this movie when I was younger. Don't know why, because it's fairly slow-paced. But I absolutely loved, Don't Let Them Bury Me. I'm Not Dead. And I always thought that was the poster, the line in the movie. I just thought it was fucking creepy. But I don't like this movie. I don't like the pace of it.
What?
I don't like the special effects at the end when it goes all Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think this is the least Wes Craven movie until the end. Then it becomes everything I don't like about Wes Craven movies.
Get the fuck out.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I like some of the performances. I like the dude that teaches them how to make the voodoo powder and everything. And there's some great performances in here. But I just find it very episodic or something. I don't know. I find the pace very off-putting.
Wow, yeah. And you know what? That's something I remembered. I always felt like this was a slower and longer movie. And this time, I just felt it moved at a really good pace, and I was interested in everything that was being shown. The setup I thought was really well done. You start with Christoph's, being buried alive in '78 in Haiti. Then you jump to the rainforest where he has that awesome trip session where he's playing with the tiger and stuff like that, and he sees Pytrod,
The guy that became like, they like turned into like a Killer Instinct like kind of video game at the end. Wasn't he like Tiger Head and the other guy was like Bear Head or something like that? I don't know. It just became very silly at the end when they did the final showdown.
Pytrod, the head of the secret police. Yeah, that guy. I don't know. I thought it was a really good setup. Bill Pullman's terrific.
Well, I didn't like it as a kid, and I still don't like it now.
Wow.
No change, no nothing. It's an hour and a half long. It felt like it's 2.5 hours.
Wow.
There's way too much meat on the bone. It's just I don't understand. I don't want to say I don't understand. I don't know. It didn't grab me. Again, it's just a movie that's just not my cup of tea.
And I told you, voodoo, these types of things, these voodoo, these like Haitian movies where they go to like, these islands and do stuff like that, and usually not my type of thing either. I found myself intrigued by the whole idea of, the zombie and controlling the body by encasing the soul and all that. And it just seemed like this was for having a lot of meat on the bone, like you say, it just felt like they made it very simplistic and understandable for like a layman without getting too deep into like the rituals and stuff like that.
The second act just took me out of it. It had a good setup, decent setup in the beginning. The third act was fun. I really dig it into the third act. I just wish they would have cut the second act. Again, it's not a very long movie, but it felt like it was 2.5 hours to me.
I think that's because, like you said, it has a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
It just has a lot of stuff.
Too much. That's what I'm saying. Too much meat on the bone. They didn't have to go there.
They could have simplified it even more, I think.
Yeah. I think they could have.
I feel like, they... All right, maybe it's a little jarring at the beginning because you go 78 Haiti, you go 85 Amazon, then you go back to Boston for the pharma meeting where he's going to be sent to Haiti to investigate Christoph and find out about how to make somebody a zombie. Then he's back in Boston towards the end, then he goes back to Haiti, and then, so there is a lot of back and forth, but I don't know, I was really on board with it.
I thought some of the filming looked good. Until they went into like the graveyard or some of the other places, and then it became such a badly dressed set that it took me out of the movie. But like when they're in the cities and towns, I thought that felt authentic. And then poor Wes Craven, man, he makes one movie that was a hit with fucking nightmares in it, and he's got to have every movie with a fucking couple nightmare sequences in it. He can't seem to get away from nightmares, and so
this was filmed in Haiti,
Well. Yeah, so that looks very authentic, obviously.
Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Boston. So Boston actually looked like Boston, and Haiti looked like Dominican Republic and Haiti.
But when they go to the graveyard, it looks like it's a set.
I don't know. It looked authentic enough for me. I like the fact that Christoph stays there. I like the fact that very early on he says this is where I belong, and how that comes back to ultimately be huge for Dennis's character in the end.
A lot of people love this movie. Eddie Murphy loved this movie, which is why he wanted to work with Wes Craven, and they eventually did Vampire in Brooklyn, was their project together, based on this. The guy that I grew up with, that I said that I went across the street, and with his family, I've watched horror movies when I was scared shitless of them. This was one of his favorites. He loved this movie. I wanted to love it because I was a huge Wes Craven fan. But I just found it a little too long. I was just not on board with it, and I thought maybe my older mind would like it a lot more, and I found out it didn't. I didn't like the sound effects of the woman zombie made.
The bride one.
Yeah.
That rips oh man, I thought that was creepy as hell. I like the whole goat scene, how he cuts into the hoof to expose him. How he switches the powder and drinks it.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't know. I was into it. I thought all the the supporting characters, the doctor, the club owner, Lucian, Mozart, who helped him with the powder, and all these secondary characters were really good, and Pytrod was just evil, and I was on board. I was really interested in each of these characters.
For me, the best stuff was the dream sequences.
Yeah, I like the dream sequences too.
It really was.
I'm not saying I didn't like him. It's just like, again, like he played the deadly friend. He had them in this. It's a fucking shocker. Every goddamn movie he made since Nightmare on Elm Street is plagued with nightmare sequences. They're not plagued.
These were pretty simple though, because these were just pretty much like premonitions of things that just happened like a few scenes later.
Yeah, I liked them though. That's all I'm saying. That's highlights for me with the dream sequences. I mean, unfortunately, they were just dreams. They didn't actually happen. But I mean, it is what it is. I do.
Well,
like
they did
the
happen
heading.
later on in the movie. I mean, he dreams about the female zombie in the cemetery, and that happens later on. And
Yeah.
he does have dreams that do come to fruition. It's almost like a warning.
It's true. That's true. I like when there was the beheading in the bed next to him.
Yeah.
You know, that was well played. It was like the Godfather scene with the horse's head, except it was the humans.
Yeah.
And the rest of the body was there.
That was all set up to arrest him. That was cool. That was the dead guy's sister.
Mm-hmm. How about that? How about when the one throws its own head? It literally throws its own head off. That was great, wasn't it? You know what I'm talking about? It threw its own head off. I never saw that before in a movie. That was great. Oh shit! And the one surprise scene when he's like, "Death is not the end," and then he's about to go into some spiel, and then he fucking goes into his thing. The what's his name? The voodoo guy.
Oh, Mozart.
Okay, Mozart. There was his name.
The one who helped to make the powder?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mozart.
Mozart. Wasn't that the name of
Louis Mozart?
Wasn't Mozart the name of a kid on the Bad News Bears or something like that?
Yeah, also a famous composer too.
Well, I know that, obviously.
Also the name of my first guinea pig.
Wolfgang Amadeus. Yes.
My first guinea pig was Mozart.
Was it really?
Yeah, and my first dog was Beethoven.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's because of the movie, though, Beethoven.
No,
right?
Beethoven was in the 70s.
Really?
Yeah, Beethoven was here before I was.
Oh.
Then he got the fuck out of Dodge.
Actually, I think he died right before Beethoven came out.
Don't follow my joke with a death.
Jeez.
That's what I'm doing. Because your jokes are killing me.
He's killing me.
I'm really upset that I can't get on board with one of you. Like, I guess we have with some of these films. Like, I've lined up with one of you, but I don't know. I feel like I'm always on the other end.
That's okay. That's what the show's about. That's why we have three people.
I don't want to be alone I don't want to be alone anymore.
Yeah, we agreed on one wholeheartedly so far. It's the way it is. 1988. What a time, I tell you.
It was a fucking great year when you really see it.
It was solid because when I'm making my list for top 10, I'm leaving like a couple movies off that I feel bad for leaving off. So yeah, I will give you that. It was a consistent year. Not many movies that we're talking about tonight are making my top 10. But
I like the fact that they have the whole political backstory with the corrupt president and the fact that this, the head of the secret police is this voodoo guy. So that plays out in sort of like the background, which is, I thought, very nicely done. So when when shit hits the fan at the end, is an uprising, and it's really great.
Yeah, see, that's the stuff that kind of lost me, and I understand
because it becomes more dramatic than horror.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I was really on board. I thought this was like a really well-made Wes Craven film. Like, I never loved it in the past, but I really feel like I have a newfound respect and joy for this film.
It's a better movie than most of his movies.
Yeah, it really is, and I appreciate
honest,
that.
Yeah, but I just didn't enjoy it like as much.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're not into it, then it's it doesn't matter how good it is. It's just not.
This is true.
For some reason, I really enjoyed it this time.
Mozart, you know what? He was a kid in the movie. He was one of the kids in Sleepaway Camp. That's why I was thinking of him.
Oh, we're seeing Sleepaway Camp 3?
No, 1. Sleepaway Camp, the original Mozart. He was a character in it.
Mozart was also my first guinea pig.
He was the heavyset kid that was doing the freaking. Remember they had him do the sit-ups and they put the shaving cream on the other kid's ass and he went up
and then he said your ass stinks and he ran away.
Yeah, Mozart. That was him. So for some reason when you said Mozart, I thought of him.
Alan Mozart.
Yeah.
Your ass stinks.
Your ass stinks. Yeah, that was in what do you call it? That was in part whatever. What are we talking?
Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Hey. Not as bad as Survivor.
Nothing is, my friend. Nothing is. Holy
Nothing
cow.
is.
No, that's the friggin'. Oh, yeah. Boy, oh boy. So anyway, the second act really loses me in this one. I just check out, and the political stuff comes in. And I'm like, I don't know.
I thought Christian was going to be on board with me here on this one. I don't know why. I just felt like
I said, it was one. Shockingly, this is one that I've liked less and less as I've gotten older. As I said when we opened, I liked this as a kid. I thought it was creepy. I was entertained by it, but as I find something about Wes Craven, he tries to weave in mythology that should work, but a lot of times I think it falls flat for Wes Craven.
Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know why. I just felt like for as much substance as this film has, whether you like it or not, like this is a film you'd probably enjoy more when you're older rather than a kid.
You'd think.
Not saying you don't have creepy scenes that would scare you as a kid. I would have definitely been bored if I saw this when I was 8 years old when it came out, 9 years old.
Oh, there's no way I'd be able to watch this at that age. I could barely watch it now. At my age, I would have been freaking way checked out in that one. You know, holy cow! But I'm not shitting on it. It's just not for me. It's it's competent filmmaking. It's just I can't keep up. I check out. You know, there's too much dialogue for me, and it's not interesting enough to keep me hooked, and the visuals aren't always interesting enough to keep me engaged.
You didn't like the nail through the scrotum?
I do like the nail in the scrotum. Yes. I like that. I like the scene with the freaking, what do you call it?
I believe in Haiti they call that the Prince Albert.
Prince Albert in the can. Yes. With the scene with the freaking burying him, when they bury the dude and the way, oh man, dude, that's freaking.
At the beginning with the tear rolling down the eye?
Well, that's cool, but I'm talking about later with Bull Pullman.
Oh, when they put the tarantula in. Oh my God.
Ooh, that's some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another.
That's the best scene of the movie. No question.
Yeah, that's another dream sequence that he had too, because he had a dream about that also before, where it looked like he was standing up in the coffin, and you see the dirt coming through. Like, I don't know. It was really. I'm a little surprised, but I'm enjoying the film more the more I think about it.
Nice. How about when she gets mad at him and she's, remember when the girl gets mad at him and she goes, I know why you were doing this and this, and then at the end she goes, yeah, I see. She goes, shit floats, and then she walks away from him. Remember that part?
I always thought it was hope floats.
That's what I call that movie. Shit floats. It's called. Does shit really float though?
Yeah. Well, if you look in the bowl, you never look in the bowl.
Yeah, I don't think it floats. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had that line from Nightmare, Revenge of the Nerds, when they throw him in, they go, let's see if shit floats, he says. And he grabs freaking, what's his name, Gilbert, and they throw him in the water. Yeah. I just always thought that was a funny expression. It's a thing to say, shit floats. I don't really know how much it floats. I don't know. Listeners, weigh in. Does your shit float? Christian's quiet on this. Christian, what do you think?
Christian's in the bathroom checking, doing experiments.
Let's test out your theory.
I'm going to find out right now. That's the question of the episode. Does shit really float?
Downfalls, I have no water, so I just shit on the floor.
Oh, God, that stinks.
It floats on linoleum.
I gave this movie a 6 out of 10.
Oh, me too. 6 out of 10. Wow.
8.25 out of 10. I'm into the quarter ratings lately.
Yeah, you're Mr. Quarter.
Mr. Quarter.
Grimsby Quarter.
And with that, we'll go jump right into Cheerleader Camp for our 8th film.
Indeed, yeah. Cheerleader Camp.
A group of cheerleaders become the targets of an unknown killer at a remote summer camp. It's not really a summer camp, it's a cheerleader competition.
Where the fuck did you read that one from? And why?
IMDb.
He's out of control, man.
IMDb. Okay, I'm going to say it right off the bat. Another film needs a Blu-ray release. I have the DVD. I enjoy this film a lot, but it's gone a little bit down for me this time.
I'll give you that.
Oh, thank you.
I've seen this many times. This movie is just a comfort movie for me to a degree. Not like some are, but it's something I can put on any time. But it also made my top 50 slashers, It did mine also, and I don't think it would now. I don't know if it. No, it would still be. It would still be there. Just I went down a tad bit this time. I'll say that, a tad, half a point to be exact. But I still enjoy it.
That's probably what I went down.
I still enjoy it. It's got a great cast, and but there is a lot of not a lot, but there's enough scenes with nothing going on that
it seems like it's just a movie of here's a red herring, here's another red herring, here's another red herring, here's another red herring. And for an hour, it's just red herrings, and then it's like, here's the killer, and it's over.
But the twist, the cast, is specifically these beautiful women, and the kills are what it's about.
Some decent kills,
no.
better than average characters, better than average acting, funnier than most of them. They try to be funny, they're usually not. This one succeeds. I don't like the nightmares. I think that's a lazy,
I agree.
Lazy part of it, and good nudity. The music sucks though. Music is below average, I find. I don't know what
score.
Yeah, the score.
Okay.
I just too generic.
Generic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wrote nothing about the music, so that means I didn't notice it.
Right. It's definitely generic. They didn't spend any money with that. No.
I never gave this any really the time of day. Kind of like Slaughter Highway back when, Dave, and whatever. Like I never even watched it, and your love of it made me watch it, and I've watched it now.
Never saw Slaughter Highway.
Slaughter Highway.
This fucking guy. Slaughter High.
That's a good name for a movie.
You said the Slaughter Highway.
Yeah, can you slap?
That's a good name for a movie.
Please reach over your screen there and just slap him right across the fucking face.
Is the Slaughter Highway anything like the Hershey Highway?
Christian, does it float on the Hershey Highway? Yeah, the dream sequences, the nightmare thing was a little annoying here, but yeah, the standout of this film is certainly the women and some of the kills, because there's not much in the way of like quality dialogue or anything like that.
No, but they do manage to blend like the Revenge of the Nerds feel with a slasher film.
Yeah.
In this, better than like the ones that are like Camp Dread or whatever, that's what their goal is. This one, it just happens to be like, we want to make a slasher movie, but they've got enough little bits of like that 80s teen comedy in there. Like when he's trying to pack the sock in his underwear. I can't remember the line he uses, but then he pulls it out and throws it at the guy and stuff. Like they record the guy jackhammer fucking the head cheerleader.
Yeah.
And then the twist, because there is a twist.
Yeah, damn straight.
So it's fun. It's not high art. It's not gonna it's by no means saying anything different, but it's an enjoyable ride. And
I don't get bored watching it.
No, it's short enough where it doesn't overstay its welcome.
No,
and how can you get bored just looking at Betsy Russell and Lucinda Dickey and
Terry Weigel?
The other.
Oh my God, Terry Weigel. This is the weird thing about Terry. I back when I used to watch porn, back in the early 2000s on videotape and everything, and you see the names get around, I was never really struck by her. But when I see her in this movie, this is by far the best she's ever looked. I can't believe how beautiful she is in this movie.
And I think she's gorgeous in this, but I think I even like the Teresa character better in this.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many stunning women in this.
Is Teresa the girl from it's funny because these girls are so pretty that you don't even notice as much. She's overshadowed. What's her name from freaking Teen Wolf? She was the big, she was the big shot in Teen Wolf. She was the
Bonnie.
number one hot girl.
That was Bonnie. The blonde.
Yeah, and she ends up like being the one that's least noticeable with this cast in this movie. Man, and Betsy Russell always looks great. And Lucinda Dickey, of course. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, but Terry Weigel, she's on another level in this movie. Man, I tell you, it's out of control. How about Muffin? She shows back up. Remember I told you before there was a slasher where Muffin, and it was at a camp, and Muffin made her return? Wow, did you see her? She was in this movie. She survived that camp, and then a few years later they reopened the camp for Cheerleader Camp, and there she was. So
they're supposed to be college students, right?
Yeah, because it's cheerleaders for college.
Yeah, because at one point they were talking about, this is like it was when we were back in high school, when the guys are talking about getting girls and stuff like that. But it just feels like so childlike at the camp. Like the mascots have to eat lunch with their.
I know.
That's the funniest scene ever. And did you notice they have the girls' night out mascot there, the bear?
Oh, that's right.
I didn't even think of it. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. They did it on purpose, you think? Wow.
I don't know if they did it on purpose, but I saw it. I'm like, that's the girls' night out there.
That's amazing. Wow.
I loved it. And she's trying to stick a sandwich like through her alligator nose.
Oh, I know. It's funny because watching it back now, knowing the reveal, you could see through the whole thing the seeds planted the right way.
Yeah.
She reacts to everything.
It is pretty clever that way, but also in the mascot scene, if you didn't notice, go back and watch it. The chicken is like drinking juice, and it's just pouring the juice on the beak of the chicken head. Yeah.
By that point, I just gave in. Fuck it. I'm just gonna pretend like I could drink it.
You're a mascot, not a human.
I know, boy, the abuse going on there. Holy shit, that's worse than hazing.
And that was
cow.
mean. She deserved to win. She deserved to win the She got the most cheers.
Yeah, she did.
They got the right queen. Bonnie did get more cheers.
She did.
Bonnie deserved to be queen, but Lucinda deserved Corey deserved the mascot.
It's a good video cover too.
It is.
Oh,
It's a great poster art. I appreciate that they made them college girls. So this way, everybody who worked at the camp, who was pretty much like a pervert, and the sheriff, who's a pervert, seemed a little less creepy because at least these girls are older.
Everybody's a pervert in this. That's the one thing when you go back to some of the other slashers, you're like, these are supposed to be high school girls. I feel a little dirty. I want this to take place in college from now on.
Yeah, now you're looking at friggin' a porn star legit, you know? There's no guilt there. How about that rap?
Oh my god.
So bad.
Even
So
Ice
bad.
Cappuccino's better.
I agree.
Did they think they were really going to win the competition? Like if Pam had showed up, like nothing they were doing was going to suggest they were going to win.
Yeah, I agree. That was a bad rap. And, although Leif Garrett wasn't too bad overall. But...
So is his big claim of fame that he played a small role on The Outsiders?
No, he was, what do you call it? That's his claim to fame. Wasn't he singing first?
Yeah, I think he was
he was a singer in a band or whatever, right?
Yeah, he was a, what do you call it? He was a freaking heartthrob.
Yeah.
He released 2 covers, Surfing USA and Run Around Sue, on his self-titled debut album. Mostly stopped recording music in the 80s. I'm trying to figure out where he started. Maybe he was just from acting. He was in a bunch of stuff early, and he just became this teen idol, I guess, from acting. Yeah. No longer acting. Fish Mitch was the last part he played in 2009.
I got nothing more. I didn't write a lot of notes for this one. Like I say, it's fun though. It's a fun little slash. I have nothing more revealing to say about it. I don't know if you guys have exhausted your notes.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot here. Some of the kills were really good. Timmy getting gutted, Pam getting those shears through the back of the head, really cool.
Oh yeah, axe kill, bear trap.
Yeah,
you know?
there was some cool stuff in here. I thought it was kind of funny that towards the end when sort of everyone's gone and they think it's over, they decide to have a champagne celebration, even though like 4 of their friends have just been murdered. So guys, let's have some champagne. And then she slaps Corey on the ass and like you deserve to die. Like you
right?
Really, like,
it has what you want in a slasher. It's not great. I think it's still pretty good though. You know what I mean? It has the kills you want. The characters are interesting. You got the whodunit aspect of it, which is always good. The whole mental thing with Betsy Russell, with what's her name, Allison. You know, with what's going on with her and the way they play it out. It does what it's supposed to do for a slasher in the 80s. Could it have been better? Of course, but it could have been a lot worse too. It's one of those films that I enjoy. You know, that's all there is to it. It's a slasher I dig.
I like the setup. He killed her. Boom.
Oh yeah, right.
She fired. She didn't even. I mean, granted, they set it up with her being sort of like mentally coming undone with these nightmares and stuff throughout, which basically forgives it, because if not, it would probably be like one of the funniest things in slasher history, because it's just like when we talked about Nightbreed. He's got a gun. He's and then they start firing. He's
immediately, yeah.
He's okay. And they
okay, 7 out of 10 for me.
Same here, 7 out of 10.
6 1/4.
Ooh, 6 1/4. Okay.
It's all in the same ballpark.
Yeah, it is in the same ballpark. But I think I was 6.75 for the slasher show.
You must have been at least for it to make your list. Jeez.
Well, I think I had 6.5 as my starting.
Yeah, I think I did too. Or it was close. No, I think that's when I invented 6.75 was for that show. So yeah.
Invented it. I love that.
All right. Are we ready for number 9?
Let's do it.
Number 9. Written and directed by Sander Stern. Pin. Isolated by
Nightmare.
A Plastic Nightmare.
Sorry.
Released in 1989.
Is that
January of 89.
Is that what the dot was it? That's what it says?
Yeah, U.S. release in January of '89. It was released at Cannes and Montreal in '88. We're going by Montreal release dates here.
So, is that what the ... was supposed to be? A plastic nightmare? Because it has a ... in the title sequence, but it's only called a plastic nightmare on the actual video box or poster.
Right, but that's what it's supposed to be. Pin, a plastic nightmare.
In Serbia, it's called Lutak.
Lutak?
Lutak. It really is. I guess that's how you say pin. In France, it's called Schizo Dream.
That's a little better, although it's kind of giving things away.
Isolated by his strange parents, Leon finds solace in an imaginary friend, which happens to be an anatomy doll from his father's doctor's office. Unfortunately, the doll begins to take over Leon's life and his sister's life as well. Pin! We're talking about Pin!
We said we were going to do this. Full disclosure, I saw this. I rented this with a buddy of mine, and we laughed our fucking heads off, and we thought it was the worst movie ever. Again, at that tender age of 15. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I've always, it was funny. I didn't even think of it again until, maybe in the 2000s. Watched it again and go, oh my gosh, this is much better than I remembered it. This is actually a good movie. And so I haven't watched this a lot. This was my possibly fourth time, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot.
Wait, let me stop you there for a sec. Let me stop you right there. It didn't play as well.
It never does.
It was my it was my third time this year. How's that?
Wow.
I've watched this movie more so the last 4 or 5 years more than ever. Probably at least once, maybe twice a year. You know what I mean? Pin does rock. I love it more each year. Yeah, I just showed it to my daughter a few months ago. It's great, man.
I love the opening scene.
She wasn't bored by it?
Oh.
That childlike music.
No, she wasn't bored by it. No. Yeah, the music in the beginning. Oh, dude, everything. The whole scene with the kids and them sitting there and the voice.
And this is straight up my type of film because it's it's presented in a way where it's psychological, but you're not sure if there is a supernatural underlying presence here throughout.
Well, as you're watching it for a little bit, when you see the first kill with Aunt Dorothy.
Man, what a kill.
Dude, that's the moment when you realize. Because you see Pin sitting up, but then right after you see Leon pop up. And that's when you're because you kind of are on edge the way they play it. You don't know what's going on here. Especially when the parents get killed and Pin's in the back seat and you see that he's sitting up. And of course it can be explained with the way they're driving and stuff. But it's so weird because I don't understand why the doctor is so bugged out by Pin. He's looking at it like he thinks
he's not bugged out by Pin. He's bugged out by the fact that he realized he fucked up big time in the way he's raised Ursula and Leon, and particularly the effect it's had on Leon. Because now here's Leon, a young adult, and he truly believes Pin is a human being. Because every nice thing, every bit of information in his life came from Pin, not his father, because his father was an asshole.
Correct.
So it's sort of, I sort of feel like he's staring at Pin and driving the way he is because he's in an absolute panic over what he's just realized.
Wow, I didn't. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's another good observation for this movie. Oh shit, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, because they aren't very good parents. You know what I mean? They're
not.
The mother's just a shrew.
And she's a nutcase too. She has sex with Pin.
Okay, so that is her. It's been bothering me for years if that woman is the mother or a nurse or someone that works at that office, because they look the same, kind of, but the hair looks different. Christian, what do you think? Is it the mother or not?
I never knew it was the mother. I thought it was just a nurse at the hospital. I didn't know that at all.
See, I think it's
Holy
a nurse.
Smoke.
No, I think it's a nurse that looks like the mother because the hairstyle is different.
It's the mother, I think, finishing up at the office.
See, I used to think it was the mother the first few times I watched it, and the more I've watched it, I don't think it is. The hairstyle is different. Either way, so at least
I thought it was just a nurse that worked at the hospital.
Well, it's a good question. That's the bottom line there. We're gonna do a shorty on this because it's a triple R style, but I mean, we could really deep dive in. We may even come back and deep dive on.
Wow, you know what? Now now I just went onto Wikipedia, and I mean, I know Wikipedia's not always 100%, but it's saying it's his father's nurse. But
see, there you go. It's a different hairstyle. It's shorter.
I don't know why. I thought that
but
was
she
the
does
mother.
look like, because it looks like her. That's the problem with casting here.
See, I never even thought it was a mother at all. I just thought it was a nurse. I never thought it was a nurse. I always thought it was a mother. Like, it's the father's practice, so I figured it made sense that the mother would be there. And I figured this is like the mother's suppressed sexuality, because clearly, like, the father's so uptight, she's uptight, that there has to be some sort of release for someone somewhere. And I figured when she was at the office, she was fucking pinned.
It doesn't make sense. You're right.
The fact that it's a nurse actually, I mean, it doesn't hurt the film. It's not that big a deal. It's just another scarring thing that Leon saw. But if it was a mother, I like it a little bit better.
The mom hates Pin.
True.
The mom even says when they're getting in the car, I hate that thing.
But that could be a cover-up.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe she hates it because when she looks at it, when she's not fucking it, she has guilty feelings.
Yeah, and that would explain her hating it.
Or you guys are both wrong, and she just
family.
hates it, and the nurse fucked it.
Right. True. Because I've come around. I used to think it was the mother, and now I think it's the nurse. So it's fucking crazy.
So they have
when Alex fucked it, did he taste any mom or did he taste the nurse?
Does Pin float?
You think that Ursula blew Pin at any point?
Dude, why do they keep telling us that Ursula's 15 years old?
We know she's not.
I know, but still, it made my erection feel bad.
I don't like to think about it either. I know.
Ursula, man, oh my God, she's stunning. Oh
Boom.
My God.
Boy, she is. Yeah, she's up there. She's no Terry Weagle, but she's up there. Yeah.
But Ursula. She's like that. She's the girl next to her. She's the one you want to bring home to Ma.
Yeah, but she's a dirty birdie. And even when she's a little girl, she's like, I think I'm really going to like you when I get older. I'm like,
yeah, but how
like that?
Yeah, but how bad is father? Hey, Leon, you want to watch me perform an abortion on your sister?
How do you perform an abortion on your daughter to begin with, and then ask your son to watch it to learn? Holy fuck, that Terry O'Quinn's fucking sick.
He might be worse than the stepfather in this.
Dude, I'm telling you, the real father is worse than the stepfather. Holy shit, man. That's gross.
You guys don't find the accident scene a little... Yeah, there's some spooky elements with Pin sitting up and then him with the realization, as we were talking about earlier. But that frantic driving, it's fucking ludicrous. It's a little laugh-inducing. Come on. It's a little much.
Listen to... Yeah, but B has a good way of explaining it. He's bugging out. How would you feel if you saw your son up there doing that? Talking to Pin and talking back. You flip the fuck out too.
Plus they're running late, you know, he's trying to get there on time because they had to go back for the notes and this and that. And
now he's got that on his brain. He just... what would be worse? Going up there and seeing him fucking Pin or seeing him talking to him? Seriously, it's worse.
Those are my options.
I would prefer him fucking Pin. Well, I'm just saying. Imagine if you had that and you caught your son just fucking Pin. You would probably be pretty upset about it. Now imagine him talking to him.
Did you say caught your son fucking? I'm sorry, I looked at him for my notes for a second and wasn't paying attention. All I heard was son fucking.
Well, Christian has a son, so I'm trying to put him in the perspective of this father and his son. Well, how would you feel if that was you? Wouldn't you be flipping the fuck out?
Yes.
See? So he's driving.
Oh, son, you're doing it wrong. Take Pin from behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
How creepy is it when he gets skin? When he gets Pin skin and hair?
Oh, wow.
Dude, that is terrifying.
And Ursula has to deal with it, and she comes downstairs and she sees him like that. Oh, dude, I feel so bad for her. Holy fuck. And then bringing the boyfriend in and what she probably has to tell him even before and everything. Oh, dude. What a situation. This is like Psycho reversed or Psycho, period. It is like Psycho. It's like freaking
really
magic.
Is.
It's like magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, magic, I thought it too. And Leon, you know, he's still like, even though he's like repressed, like the parents, he still has this like urge because he calls that friend over who he always hates and talks shit about.
Right.
And that scene where he scares her half to death.
Oh, that's great. What a scene.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. I don't know. It's fucked up. It's weird. I wonder why he can't do it. He's bugging out because Pin's in the house, he says. He goes, I can't do it with Pin in the house or something like that. He's not allowed to have sex. Oh, I know why. Because Pin always talked to him about sex.
Yeah, he respects Pin too much.
Right.
and it's sort of, just from the little bit you get with them as a kid, not only this repressed sexual desire to bang his sister.
Yeah, that's true too. Because speaking of the crash, back to something funny. Did you realize that fucking he yells at Pin right before the crash? He says, "Get off!" and he pushed him.
He did push Pin off.
I never noticed that he said "get off" to him before.
And what the car flip over? The car was heading towards just a barricade, and then it fucking jumps the barricade and flips over. I know it's bad. It was a little shoddily done. To be honest.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. It's not a perfect movie, but everything is done so well. You can see everything in their childhood. You can see the first time how obsessed he is with this Pin thing. It was just this dummy in there, and the father does the voice. He's a great ventriloquist. He should have been probably would have been a better ventriloquist than a doctor even. You know what I mean? He's watching, and Ursula picks it up at a young age. He doesn't pick it up, but you see how upset he gets. And then he smacks his sister.
Yeah, you never see Leon actually look back at the father, but Ursula does.
Yeah, she's smart.
And sees his lips and knows and recognizes he doesn't have that healthy progression, mature growth.
He's intelligent. You know what I mean? He's intelligent. He appears to be the way he writes, and as a student, that's the way he's presented.
Yeah.
But I mean, he doesn't have the presence of mind. Maybe he just wants to believe in Pin so much because he has whatever emotional problems it is, and he looks up to him. So he doesn't even want it to cross his mind. And so just like when he starts doing the voice himself, when she says, "How did you learn to do that?" He's like, "Learn to do what?" That's fucked up, man. And that's sad because that's like, that shit happens in real life.
That would terrify me. That would ruin me if I experienced that as a child.
And the fact that she wants to protect,
and it was really pinned on.
And the fact that she wants to keep protecting him is definitely one of the most intriguing parts of the film.
Yeah, and I respect her for it. She doesn't want him to be sent away because outside of that, he's normal in every way to her. I mean, you know what I mean? There's nothing sinister here.
No, two people he cares about most in the world are her and Pin.
And the thing is, she already lost her parents, so her brother's all she has left.
Yeah.
I'll give her credit.
It's a really for me, it's a really intelligent psychological study. It's not. Straight up, it's not a gore film or, that sense. It's a psychological horror film, and that's, I think, why I probably might come in higher than you guys or might like it more than most people because I'm really into, like, the psychological, and there's a lot there with interactions between the parents. I'm really a little upset about the nurse thing now, but even just, the way the mother reacts when even before she finds the nudie magazine, she says to Leon, which is very weird, "What are you doing in here?" in Ursula's room, which seemed very off-putting because I don't see anything wrong with a brother being in his sister's room at that age. It seemed normal. Yeah, it was weird that they were looking at porn together, but the way she reacted...
Oh, no, she didn't want him in there, and so that's very telling as well. I just like that they got up from eating food and she's vacuuming under their feet. Like, it's like pretty much just the cleanliness factor was played quite well.
When he tells her, "You can sanitize my friend," when at the front door.
Yeah, that was great when he slaps him. I also do like the little nuances of like after the violent act on Ursula's boyfriend and whatnot. Just the fact of the revelation there afterwards of I don't know.
The watch.
Well, no, of course, her knowing, but when all's said and done, when they unpack the wood. And realize that.
Dude.
I thought that was really cool. And then
I thought so too.
And then they go, and then when the big visitation at the end is it's
so sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
And that beginning.
Have you heard from Leon? It's like the most haunting line in the movie.
Yeah.
Have you heard from Leon lately?
Yeah, it is
haunting.
At the end.
Heartbroken. Now, so that beginning says when the kids run up, and then they think the thing is a dummy, and then it blinks, and then they run away, and it says 15 years earlier. I was trying to do that timing. So he was in 15 years earlier is when we're introduced to him as a young kid first, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
So they're at the age of 7.
Age 7.
They're the age of 7.
So then he's okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry. They're not the age of 7. I apologize.
Well, he's older.
Yeah.
That was the weird thing. They do 2 age gaps there where they could have easily just done 1, maybe, because it's like they're like 7 and they're like 10 or whatever. It seems.
My guess is at the end when Ursula's married now to what's the boyfriend's name? Why am I drawing a blank?
I forget.
Stan. when she's married to Stan at the end. My guess is she's in her very young 20s. Leon's probably, 2 or 3 years older than her.
Yeah.
That would make sense for the timeline then. I just was so happy that I revisited it back when, and I was glad to watch it again for the show. I did watch it 4 times because I watched it when I did my my solo cast.
That thing.
And I gave it an 8 out of 10, and I stick with it 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a little higher. I'm a 9 out of 10. I really love the movie.
Yep, right there with you. 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Solid film. A lot of substance there.
Absolutely.
And really well acted. Good performances all around, and just keeps you intrigued because this was probably the longest film we watched.
No, I don't know about that. But
Yeah, this one's like an hour and 45 minutes. I think I think it was the longest of all of them.
doesn't seem it. Well, but other movies did.
Yeah, no, but this one I'm pretty sure, because I always check running time, and I'm pretty sure that this one was the longest. But like you said, it doesn't feel that way because there's a lot of substance there and it's well done.
Right on. Well,
All right.
we got time for the last one?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into it. The Blob, 1988, directed by Chuck Russell. The remake of the 1958 sci-fi horror classic about a deadly blob from another planet which consumes everything in its path. Teenagers attempt without success to warn the townspeople who refuse to take them seriously. Shawnee Smith, Kevin Dillon, Donovan Leitch Jr.
Well, I'll tell you, this is 3 for 3 for when it came to the remakes of the 80s. The Thing still being one of my all-time favorite films. I love David Cronenberg's The Fly, and I love the Blob.
I'm with you on The Thing, The Fly. I prefer The Thing and The Blob definitely to The Fly, but man, The Blob. This might be. I'm trying to think if I might say this might be the best remake there is.
Wow.
Like that is leaps and bounds more enjoyable and better than the original. I like the
I guess
original.
if you put it in that regard, I can understand what you're saying. But the original was a little bit more. I think The Thing, even the original was considered a classic. So
Uh,
yeah.
whereas the Blob was considered a driving classic, a little bit more like not necessarily high art. And this takes the idea and just kind of has fun with it. This movie I've watched a ton of times as well. It's just a fun monster movie.
They call the 58 version a sci-fi horror classic. It feels more like a sci-fi classic, and this one turns it into a sci-fi horror classic. This one is unapologetic with the horror and not afraid to just kill absolutely anyone and everyone from the get-go. And that's awesome because they set you up with 3 characters in the first 15 minutes who you think are going to be there in the final scene. Or at least 1 or 2 of them, and all 3 of them are gone in 15 minutes.
One is a big surprise. I'll give you that.
Between Paul, the sheriff, and Fran, I mean, all 3 of them seem like I was really. I mean, I wasn't shocked because I've seen it, but it's crazy. I think Paul is probably the big. It's certainly the big one.
I agree. Paul always, to me, seemed the one that was like, wow. Usually that's very unconventional.
Yeah.
It sets it up as one way. You know what I mean? But
great gore
well done.
For a movie
gore.
In Canada, this was at the time AA, so that 14 plus rating, and it was gorier than most of the movies that were coming out that the R-rated category. The guy chopping his arm, the blob coming up. It's the gooiness of the blob.
Ugh. Dude, the way the blob grabs Paul though, and pulling them back, and as he's melting, reaching for Meg, man, that is such an iconic image.
Off. Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, and the cop disintegrating. The sheriff disintegrating when she's in the phone booth, and then that bird's eye view of the phone booth of the blob just popping in, the guy getting pulled down the drain. There's just
the guy getting pulled down the drain. I nearly shit myself this time. It's been a while since I watched it, but when that thing, and I knew it was coming, I still nearly jumped out of my skin. A lot of good jump scares. This is one that I really wish I'd seen in the theaters.
I used to. Yeah. I never had problems with, but I would question maybe the consistency of the blob from scene to scene to scene. But I've learned to just let that go. Like sometimes it's a little bit more
like the texture and the way it acts.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it can reach out and like grab people very easily, and then in some people it seems like they're just running away from it because it's like gooing towards it at a slow pace.
Yeah, and even the consistency is more transparent in certain scenes and then more viscous or whatnot in others. But I've always just been enamored by how it looks that I've never really cared so much about it. Like it becomes, it's crazy. And then I'm even okay with the plot twist of it being man-made.
Yeah, because they don't. I mean, it becomes a part of the movie, but they don't get too crazy, with the explanation. It's just as Dr. Meadows becomes our, another villain along with the Blob, talking about he wants to contain it at the expense of, sacrificing lives in the town.
I like the commentary, with the government and
the
military. And
it keeps all that stuff from the original '50s one, but just ups the horror and entertainment value of it and blends it perfectly.
Yeah, good. It's a nice, charming little town. It has that feel. You feel for the characters. I forget her name. Shawnee Smith's character, but she's Meg. But she, cute girl. She's relatable. You like her. You like them all. Paul seems cool. Of course, he doesn't last very long. Then, of course, you got Flag coming in. Good name, Randall Flagg.
Randall.
That probably was done for a reason, but I don't know. I got maybe not. I don't know. I'm trying to think. 88. What was written at that time? I don't know, but that's what I always think of when I see him.
False flag. It never happened.
With Shawnee Smith, if she could deliver a line, wielding a machine gun and firing at the Blob, going, "Come on, is that all you've got?" And she sells that line at the end. I lose my mind, like in a great way. I'm like, that she is awesome. That's good acting. Because that's a cheesy ass line, but she sells it.
She's good.
Yes, she is good. What happened?
She's been really solid. I think throughout her whole career. I think she's done a lot of quality stuff.
Yeah, like
not necessarily great.
Later on, yes.
I do like her in the Saws.
I love her in the Saws as Amanda. That's all well and good. But what I'm saying is, in 1988, when she's young, I don't see why she didn't become another scream queen like the rest. Because she certainly didn't go anywhere else to prevent that.
She tended to do more comedy. I mean, she did like Summer School. She did like Who's Harry Crumb, stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess she did have bit parts here and there. It's just that she did so good, and she was good with the screaming and everything. You would have thought that she could have been, alongside with Linnea and the rest from the late 80s, early 90s, and she really wasn't. Then she returned to it later on with mainly the Saw series, but then
she saw like the love that she probably gets for the Blob, and it's like, you know what?
Right.
If the fans in horror are loyal, I can make money not only making these movies, but now she does all the conventions.
I was going to ask about conventions because she probably is big at the conventions.
I just saw her at the last one I went to. I saw her there.
Really?
She looked great. She looks. I mean, she still looks a little older, but she still looks the same.
Nice.
Let's get back to that movie theater scene. Wow.
Oh.
I love the strobe lights. I love the guy spoiling the movie, talking in the theater, getting gobbled up. I love that whole thing. It's great. When he gets sucked into the ceiling, it's freaky. When the guy goes into the projection booth, and you see the yo-yo come down, and then you see it go up. Like these are all really cool effects.
Yeah.
Yep. They sure are. The effects are the best thing about the movie.
I'll do a bit of trivia for you two. What is the line that Charles Russell uses in he did Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and he directed The Blob, and I believe he also put it in The Mask with Jim Carrey. What's his iconic line that he has in all three movies?
He doesn't need condoms. He needs a muzzle.
Ribbed. That's the
ribbed.
I was going to say ribbed. Oh, my God.
No, that's not it. No, it's not ribbed.
Wow.
No, that's just a funny line in the movie.
I know that. As a joke, I know, but I was going to go with the same joke. That's crazy. Ribbed was what I was going to answer, because I don't know a legitimate answer.
I don't know.
Is that all you got?
And I don't know if this has been on trivia or not, or if I just found this out, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it's What a Rush.
Is it smoking?
No, it's What a Rush. What a Rush. Freddie into Tanya. With the needles, what a rush. And at the end, Flag looks up after they blows it up, and he looks up, he's like, what a rush. And I'm pretty sure it's in The Mask as well.
Rocky Dennis says it at the end?
Yeah. Rocky,
What a rush, Mom.
These things are a drag. Dust in my hair, holes in my shoes, what a rush, and the sun shining on my face.
Fuck. That was good. Finally, you get a good one.
Every so often. Ooh, I think here's my, not complaint, but an observation. I don't understand why the first time that they're trapped and they realize that when they get into the cold.
Why
that the Blob,
why it's not affected by the cold sooner?
Not that. Why don't they take that information and use that earlier on in the movie?
Yeah. Why they didn't notice it and use it? Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
I thought they did.
Okay.
Oh,
No, they
so
didn't.
you're saying
Until the
that
end.
was just for us? You're saying that when they didn't have an option. He runs to go get the snow machine because they noticed that the tongues were crystallizing in the freezer. Otherwise, there'd be no reason for him to go get the snow machine.
The fire extinguisher.
Right. But
No,
I'm
he was
saying,
gone at that
Shawnee
point.
Smith.
He was gone at that
There'd
point.
be-
Johnny Smith was there, and she had this fire
Right.
extinguisher, and she's like, "It's the cold. They don't like the cold." I don't think she put two to two together. And then Flag, I guess, did. It was a little convenient, but then he went to go get the snow machine.
Wait a second. When did the Reverend collect his pieces?
When he walked into the diner after the Blob had left, after it gobbled up Fran and was that Fran? Yeah, Fran.
Yeah.
And then it's
sheriff.
gobbling away. He sees it, and then he walks in, sees the crystallize, and puts them into the glass container. Which,
Okay.
by the way, if I didn't have it on one of the creepiest endings when we did the top 20 creepiest endings show or best endings, the Blob, I think I may have had it. I can't remember, but the Blob deserves to be on that list because fuck what an ending this has.
Yeah, it is a great ending.
But anyway, so to get back to it, I thought they did use it, Dave, just not then. I don't think they put two and two together. But when she has the fire extinguisher and she's shooting it, Flag has already gone to go get the snowblower, I think.
Yeah, which
Right, but-
doesn't make sense that Shawnee Smith wouldn't have, what Dave was saying is it doesn't make sense why she wouldn't have passed on this information to the townsfolk.
Right.
Exactly.
She was there being chased.
That's what she sort of exclaims it, excuse me. She's blowing it, and it reacts negatively to it.
She blew the Blob.
Shawnee Smith blew the
Did you
Blob.
watch?
And then they're saying the cold. She yells, "The cold! I can't stand the cold." So she's realizing it's almost like it flashback. The tongue's crystallized. Boom! It's reacting to this. The cold. I can't take the cold. So then the townspeople start getting the fire extinguishers. What I don't understand is I don't think Flag overheard that. So he does do a leap of faith to go get the snowblower. There's a little bit of a disconnect there, but I'm not losing sleep over.
I'm not losing sleep. I'm a little messed up now over that. But did they get Bill Moseley out of the sewers?
With the paper plate in his head?
That was Bill Moseley.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
That was him. That was him as the government agent, down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
He might have told them. He's like, I'm pretty sure it's the cold. Don't trust me. I do have a paper plate in my head, but
Here's what I'm thinking.
The loathing.
The light bulb went off in her head later on when she made the connection of what happened earlier and what just happened in front of her face now. But what the question I was posing is if something was chasing you forever and nothing was going to stop it, then all of a sudden you got into a freezer and you literally saw it come in and then decide to back its ass out of there, wouldn't you immediately say, hey, this thing might not like the cold, and then use it earlier in the film instead of waiting to the end? But I guess what you're saying, see, is that the light bulb kind of went off in her head,
Yes.
and she made the connection and forgot in the midst of all that. They did end up using it later because of that.
a lot of people had died. She might have been able to save a few extras, but yeah, no, I kind of, and the fact that Brian wasn't there, because I always thought like he was around when they were doing the fire extinguisher, and then he runs off later to get the truck, but he didn't.
There's
It doesn't hurt the film.
It doesn't really hurt.
No, it's just a little thing.
When the kid's like stupid jacket, the zipper won't work, and then that plays like a lot. There's a lot of callbacks to things.
That was
later on.
great.
Yeah, where it gets stuck, and then what about the friend? Like you're saying, they don't care who they kill in this movie.
Yeah,
his buddy gets pulled back, and then pops back up for a jump scare, like half disintegrated. It's fantastic,
dude. And he had learned his lesson. He was screaming he was never gonna go see another horror movie again, which made me feel even worse because at first it's like, okay, you need to get rid of this kid because he's sneaking into R-rated movies, but now he wants to like be good, and they still kill him. And the whole bike scene, the Evel Knievel little, oh man, the settings are great.
It's a fun movie, fast-paced,
really is.
fun. It's not perfect, but it's so close to being like it's just so goddamn enjoyable.
I just have a question for you, C. Were those the Royal Canadian Mounties?
Where?
Don't you remember?
When they came and Brian says, What did he say?
Oh yeah.
They don't send
Something
they don't send the Royal Canadian Mounties or something.
Yeah.
I forgot what he said, but
Yep.
and I know C's least favorite line in the movie was definitely when Dr. Meadows said, "Close the manhole." He was like, "No, leave the manhole open."
I've always loved the.
Thanks.
What about the civilians? They are expendable.
Yes.
And then Stallone came out. I wish Meadows had. I mean, it's cool when he gets sucked into the sewer. I just wish it had been. I don't know. I wish it had been even more violent and nasty.
It could have used a few more kills. That would have put this movie over the top.
Well, if you look at it,
there's a lot of
there's so
kills,
many
man.
kills happening. You see it smashing people on the ground. And you
it's
see them like
gobbling
in
people
like
up.
the tentacles.
Well, I don't mean that type of kill. I mean like the kick-ass kills, like when you get the close-ups and their skin and their skull being
the
shown
booby
and shit
trap?
like that.
Like the
The
legitimate
booby trap. Dude, I want his trunk bar. That bar he had in his
I thought that was the coolest truck ever. When I was a kid, I'm like, that's what I want. Realizing that's totally illegal. You get a full bar there, and you see how many rings? You're wearing my ring, Vicky. And then he has a whole thing of rings there. Fucking snake.
Oh, great stuff. Great scene. That whole scene in the car is fucking great, dude. Everything about that scene is great, though. The character that he is, and being having the extra rings and all that other shit, and mixing up the drinks and then when he reaches in, he tried to take advantage of a girl that's passed out. Boom! Oh, that was great.
And then the cop gets that Friday 6, gets bent backwards when he gets sucked through the bookshelf.
Oh yeah.
Rigs. Yeah.
I love
That's
those.
right.
I love backward foldings.
I know you're a big backward bend and manhole person.
Close the manhole.
Open the
backward
manhole.
bend.
We have a backward bend.
Well, they make him great. I like the
Ben
little
Bummer.
the play that they've got between him and Flag. It's almost like at that one point he almost believes him, and I just love the character play they do there. with some of
Yeah,
the
at the
dialogue.
end he genuinely was looking out for them. Like when he died, like I was kind of like, oh, that's that's sad. Like
Yeah.
he was like they weren't bad people once they realized. And, the sheriff even realized early on that Brian's not responsible for any of this.
Right.
Great-
I like.
great
Yeah, you
movie.
gotta like his hair. You gotta like Flag's hair. I'll tell you that much. That's a kick-ass mullet.
I don't know that this did very well when it came out, but it's damn enjoyable, and
It bombed.
I've watched
I think
it a
it
ton of
bombed.
times. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was a weird time. It's a weird time. Look at all the movies we're talking about in 1988. It was kind of ill-timed for what was happening in the genre, honestly.
$19 million budget made $8 million.
Yeah,
Wow.
remember, this is when they brought Michael Myers back and shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of ill-timed.
Yeah, it's crazy. And now it's like it's a classic. It's amazing.
It has become a classic. Well, how classic is it in Two Exploding Heads? What do you got, B?
I'll go first. It's close to perfection for me. 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
It's damn close.
I'll save the drama. I'll go in the middle because I don't know how high C's coming in. For me, I have come up a little bit, and listening to you guys talk about it has definitely helped that. I watched it for the first time in years, about 2 years ago, and I gave it an 8. And after watching it again and tonight's discussion, I'll go up. It's 8.5 for me.
Well, I'm glad to hear you guys, man. I'm almost as high as Brandon. I'm a 9 out of 10. Great movie.
Ooh, man. Oh, almost made it.
You know what? I'm gonna bump my score up to 10.5. So
Ah.
it's
No, The Descent didn't make it. I just missed out by a half a point last show with The Descent.
With me though, it all comes back to the next watch because I don't keep my scores written down, so I never really remember what I rated a movie. I rated each, for the sake of a show. I rated each time I watch it.
Shit. Well, that's why the top 100 is going to be a little easier for me than it is you, because I got everything written down from freaking 2013 and up.
Oh, I got nothing. I'll literally look at the years and be like, love that, love that, love that.
Nice. That's the end of that, huh? We got to do our top 10. We do that real quick.
Top
We
10 or
did it.
top 5? What are we going to do?
I got 10. I wrote them down as we were talking earlier.
I
was
should
able
have
to-
done that while we were talking.
That's fine. You can do it. C, do you have 10?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, go ahead. And let's let Brandon think.
You want me to? So number 10. This is so hard, but I had to pick between two of them, and I went with Halloween 4. Number 9, Bad Dreams. Number 8, Pin. Number 7, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Number 6, Night of the Demons. Number 5, Brain Damage. Number 4, Phantasm 2. Number 3, Dead Ringers. Number 2, The Blob. And number 1, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2.
Wow. Our lists are so different. It's going to be amazing. I think we only have 4 that are alike on our top 10. That's crazy. That never happens in any list we've ever done. Okay, well, here's mine. And I really wanted to put Bad Dreams on. It's close, but I had to go with my heart on number 10. Number 10, I give to Waxwork. I've always had a thing for that movie,
Nice.
especially the unrated version. Yeah. Number 9, Cheerleader Camp. We've talked about it. Number 8, Scarecrows, which I've really got an affinity for now. Number 7, Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. Yeah. Number 6, we have the same movie. See, Night of the Demons. 5 is The Blob. 4 is Pumpkinhead. 3 is Pin. Number 2 is Child's Play. And number 1 is Hellbound, Hellraiser 2.
Nice. Same number ones.
Yep, same number ones, but we only had 4 that were the same. Wow.
And I have Waxwork was just off the list, Sleepaway Camp 2, and Nightmare 4, because I actually do like Nightmare 4, if you remember.
I know. I'm familiar.
Is it my
turn? Your turn, B. While B is thinking, I guess we'll take 1 second to promote episode 100, which is official. It's now in the works. We are going to be doing the top 100 movies of the decade. This will be episode 100. Yeah, baby. Episode from the year 2010 to 2019. So it'll be a few months after 2019 ends. Give us time to sit on it a little bit. We're looking at probably a May release. We'll see. This is episode 88. That's episode 100. So we have a little time. We have people that have weighed in already. We have reached out to podcasters that we are friends with and whose opinion we respect, especially for modern stuff. We have about 25 people right now on the list from different podcasts that are giving list of hundreds, and we're gonna add it all up, and we have a more on it later. But that's what's gonna happen, and our patrons are invited to also submit if they would like to.
Yes.
It's official. Episode 100 is going to be the top 100 movies of the decade. Our decade. That's coming to an end.
And I got my top 10 done. It's a rough top 10, but I think I got it. Number 10, Pumpkinhead. Number 9, Serpent and the Rainbow. Number 8, Dead Ringers. Number 7, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Number 6, Night of the Demons. Number 5, Pin. Wow. Number 4, Sleepaway Camp 2. Number 3, Child's Play. Number 2 is Hellraiser 2. And number 1, The Blob.
Nice.
Yeah. Those were the 10 films. I should have been doing that while we were recording.
All right. Well, we made it. We're going to be out. Next show 89, is going to be our last non-horror trilogy, although they are kind of dark movies. But
there's one movie in particular on this list.
It's a grief trilogy. This is Patreon, all from Mark L. Dancer in the Dark, The Hunt, and Dear Zachary.
Oh, my God.
Yep, and then I know, I don't know anything about these things, so we'll see. The Thing from 2011 as a triple R, and a little bonus thing, the top 20 found footage movies. We're doing a top 20 list. So we're going to have a little fun with that.
4 movies in a list?
Well, yeah, 4 movies in a list. So not even 5 movies. How about that? Okay, so very cool. That's what we're doing next show. Again, if you guys want to submit a top 100, you can join the Patreon if you're not already there. Patreon.com/explodingheads. So that's all we got.
And try to see those films before
please.
Before the show, because there'll definitely be spoiler reviews. It's hard not to, and you really need to see all of them, especially Dear Zachary, without knowing anything about it.
Okay, I'll say them again. Dancer in the Dark, 2000. The Hunt, 2012. Dear Zachary, a letter to his son about his father, 2008.
Watch them in that order, too.
There you go. And it's all about grief. So it's going to be a sad, grieving show. But we're going to have a little fun with the Thing remake and some found footage talk. So we're going to be out of here. We love all you guys. Thank you very much.
Good night.
See you next time. Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.